Okay. Looks like we are live. What is good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to the stream. Man, today we got a great show for you guys. Going to be talking about a lot of different information that's come out when it comes to gaming news, when it comes to obviously the Switch 2 launch, when it comes to some of the stuff that's being said online, when it comes to a variety of topics, man. And man, I'm gonna go in. I am gonna go in today. So, man, you guys gotta get ready for this. I am like, oh my gosh, this whole Nintendo Switch 2 Steam Deck situation, I've got to get something off my chest. I've got to say something here because it's been eating away at me. So we're going to get into that. So get ready, guys. It is going to be explosive. I'm telling you, it's going to be explosive. It's going to be crazy. But before we get into all that, make sure you guys hit the like button and say what up in the chat. If you want me to say hi to you, say what up in the chat. And then we'll get started right into the whole situation with that. So let's go ahead and start off first with Dior. What's up, Dior? Welcome. And also, Justin with the 5.
The new trailer for Shadow Labyrinth or Edgy Pac-Man looks good. I might actually have to get it.
Okay.
Also, I have an idea for a Pokemon notification alert.
Sure, shoot me that on Discord or wherever you want, Justin, and I got you, man. Thank you for the $5 dono. I appreciate that. First dono of the stream and becoming the Hokage Stream Ninja. Anybody does $5 or more, you can type or pass it my man Justin on the board. Thank you for your support, guys. I really do appreciate that. Those who support the stream, man, helps keep everything going. So I appreciate that, guys, for real. Heads up. Shout outs. Thank you so much, Justin. I appreciate that. Dior was here first, though. Like always. Shout out to my man Dior. Let's go. Let's get those combo breaks going. Party Man Cart is here as well. What's up, Party Man Cart? Triple X 2600 says tonight's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. What's up, PG number 1? What's up, man? Welcome. Let's see here. Leaf Storm. What's up, Leaf Storm Blaze? Says you gotta stay up for this one, man. It's gonna be good. Let's see here. Clabby as well. What's up, Clabby? Kellerith. What's up, Kellerith? Dior. Clabby, my man. General Zamora. What is good? Welcome. Nosai. Let's see here. Dumpster says, guys, why Nintendo released the Warp Pass out of nowhere? I was betting on this to get my Switch 2. Okay, I don't know what that means. You sold your Steam Deck? I know, I sold my Steam Deck. I sold my Steam Deck part 2. There's 2 parts to it. I made a video saying, you know, why I sold my Steam Deck for the Nintendo Switch part 1. And there was a lot of unanswered questions. And like, I'm ready to just tee off on these people acting absolutely crazy in my comment section. I finally gotten, you know, enough. I thought about it. Sat on it. It's been a while since that video, so I wanted to really put together everything into a one huge rant that I know you guys are going to absolutely, you know what I'm saying, love or hate out there, especially when it comes to some stuff, man. So I've got to get that out of the way. We've got to get it done tonight, you know. So we're going to be doing that. Shout outs to Jose. Did some bicycle repairs on the side to earn some extra cash to pay for Switch 2. Hey, man, got to do what you got to do. How did you sell your Steam Deck without spontaneously combusting? Well, we're going to find out. We're going to talk about it. What's up, Nin128? What's up, Huddy? Welcome. Shout outs, welcome. What's up, D-Money? Welcome to the stream. What up, D-Money? What up, D-Money? Shout outs, man. Glenmore Legister. What's up, Glenmore? Welcome to the stream. Shout outs to Glenmore. Means that you trust Randy Pitchfork. Yeah, I trust Randy Pitchfork. Warp Pass is the ticket to go to Nintendo Store on release day. Usually they tell what time it's going online, but this time they just aired Ohio J. Hey, okay, my bad. I didn't even know what that was. Shout outs though. Carlos with the 31 months is OJ. This is the 7th week in a I think you meant row. You sold your Steam Deck. Have a good stream. I know 7th week in a row, but no, this time I have to really actually. We have it in the title. Like we got to talk about it because I'm tired of this, man. We got to discuss it. It's gonna be explosive. What's up, Donkey? Welcome. Justin with another 3.
I'm ready for the Steam Deck war arc to be over. Can't wait to hear the conclusion. Also, I sent you the message on Discord for the notification.
Okay, cool. I'll definitely take a look at that. So we'll definitely do that. Let's start off with this where I'm about to just rant and explode when it comes to this Steam Deck situation and everything, man. I am so angry at this point. I am so mad that all of these crazy people, how dare them have an issue with this, because what I'm about to say is absolutely crazy And I just want to say this about the Steam Deck when it comes down to it. It's actually a pretty nice system. There's a lot of great things you can do with it, to be honest. Like, the one thing that I've seen after looking at some more stuff and kind of looking over everything is that there's a lot of cool functionality with the system. And I think that it's actually really good for people who like to tinker and who like to, you know, the emulation type of stuff that you can do. There's quite a number of different things about the system. And I don't necessarily regret getting away with, or like, you know, selling it for the Nintendo Switch 2, you know, putting it towards that. But I can see why the appeal is and why there's such a passionate fan base behind the system, considering it's only sold about, what, 3.74 million units. But the fact that there's so many people that are so passionate and want to talk about it, I actually really appreciate all the people that were in the comment section and saying different things and all that. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say, man. I think it's a good system. I've seen so many applications. Like, I've had some stuff come up, like, you know, pop up in my, you know, on my YouTube page. And there's been so many cool different things that you can do if you're into that, right? Especially if you're into the emulation stuff. I think that it's fantastic for so much of that if you're into playing games that type of way. When it comes to, like, Switch 2, or when it comes to the video that I made, or when it comes to stuff like that, right? Like, I think that overall, we all have different expenses, right? We all have different things, and we all have different reasons why we buy or we sell, or we get things or we don't, or whatever. And when I first actually bought the Steam Deck, I was really excited for it, not for emulation, but simply I bought it because I felt that, hey, you know what, this could be a pretty good device to play all of the big third-party games like Persona 3 Reload that weren't hitting the Nintendo Switch, and you want to be able to play portable. That was actually one of the big reasons why I bought the system, was for that. And I also bought it as a little bit of a security blanket, you know, just in case that Switch 2 comes out and maybe it's just not quite as powerful. Maybe we see the lineup like we saw for Nintendo Switch 1, right? Where the lineup for Switch 1, there was pretty much no third-party games, which I don't rely upon Nintendo systems for third-party games, but it'd be good to get some, like, third-party RPGs, right? So you can play Persona on the go, or you can play, like, let's just say, like, 60 frames per second Persona, right? Or you can play Persona 3 Reload, or you can play Metaphor Fantasia, or whatever, right? On the go. Stuff that obviously was not coming to Nintendo Switch 1, and we don't know when or how or why, if it's going to come to Nintendo Switch 2, right? At the time that I bought the Steam Deck. So I think if I would have known what I know now about the Nintendo Switch, I probably would have never bought it in the first place. I probably just would have waited it out. But the fact that, you know, like I said, I did pick it up. You know, there was some annoyances, nothing too crazy, you know, nothing too crazy overall. And then, you know, there's plenty of stuff online. There's a great Steam Deck community that helps you, you know, tinker with it and helps you with any issues that you do have. But if I would have known that Switch 2, like, when it comes to, like, some of the rumors and, like, the specs and kind of what we know about it now at this point, I probably would have not picked it up at all. But I'm still happy that I at least tried it out, right? That I at least tried it out, gave it a shot, and saw if it's something that I might be into in terms of playing my PC games or stuff like that. And I decided, yeah, you know, it's just kind of not for me. I'll get that donut in just a bit. When it comes to the actual video of talking about that, I think that was pretty much, like I said, the whole reason why, or one of the big reasons why, is because I wasn't sure about Nintendo Switch 2 and what would happen there when it comes to third-party and Japanese games in particular. But pretty much every game that I want to play portably on the Steam Deck is probably going to end up on the Nintendo Switch 2. We've already got some confirmations of big games that I'm looking forward to that aren't on any system, obviously, like Bravely Default, HD Remaster, stuff like that, RPGs. Obviously, having something like Street Fighter, that's pretty crazy to have on the go. Cyberpunk on the go as well. Not that I was looking forward to playing that, but you guys get the gist of what I'm saying, right? There's Yakuza, there's a high number of Japanese games and Western games. Split Fiction, you know, that's a game that maybe I would have considered for Steam Deck, but, you know, not really sure. You know, I was kind of waiting and seeing exactly what was going to happen with Switch 2. So I think that's ultimately the reason why. When it comes to making a video, I mean, I'm a content creator. It's always good to maybe try and do different things. It's no hate towards the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck is, like I said, a great piece of hardware. It's a great piece of tech, and it does a lot of great things for PC fans and people that like to, you know, play certain stuff. And for, like, what you're getting, like, you know, like the price, it's pretty good. It's not bad. It doesn't come with the dock, and it doesn't, you know, hybrid, like, it doesn't change while it's docked and other stuff like that. But overall, it's still a pretty good piece of tech for what it is. However, you know, I'll say that there are some things that I kind of, you know, don't like. Some of the stuff that kind of led to me just saying, okay, let me just try this out, and then let me just go ahead and trade it in or sell it. Some of, like, the tinkering stuff, I'm not necessarily as good with that. You know, I could have learned and got better, but, you know, it is what it is on that one. But overall, yeah, it's no knock on the system, man. It's like I said, it's got the Steam storefront, it's got the Steam OS, like the big picture mode, or like the Steam OS, like, you know how you can kind of play it like it's like a regular console. There's so many good things about it. It's just like I said, not for me necessarily. So heading towards the Nintendo Switch 2 and kind of seeing what that system can do with the specs and everything like that, I kind of just said, hey man, like, oh, I don't know if I'm even going to use this anymore because I wasn't even using it prior. So that's really the real reason. If people were watching this, you know what I'm saying, like really people that were watching this, if you guys want to clip that, feel free to clip it. But that's the whole thing, you know. That's the whole thing when it comes to the system. It's not bad. It's a great system. You know, it's a great system. There's definitely an audience for it out there. And it's awesome, you know, and it's awesome for that. But like I said, I bought it in the first place just to see kind of like a insurance policy. I wasn't quite sure with Switch 2, but obviously we're getting a lot of content with Switch 2. There's a lot of big games coming over. Not everything, you know, not everything, but still a lot of big games coming over. And the performance of the system seems pretty good based off of stuff like Hogwarts, or based off of the stuff that we've been getting. So there wasn't really any point in me having it. And like I said, when it comes to my YouTube channel, I wanted to try something different. I hadn't really made any videos on Steam Deck or any videos really, just because I wasn't really too interested in it. So I felt like, hey, look, you know, Switch 2 just was announced and all that. It kind of answered every single question that I personally had, like whether it was going to be able to do in the functionality overall. So I felt like this is a good opportunity to say, hey, look, this is what I even got it for. It's not really going to, you know, with the Switch 2, my concerns kind of alleviated with the system specs and stuff like that. There's no need. So let me explain and let me kind of give like my own personal take and my review on the system, you know, overall. Beforehand, this was kind of like the last opportunity before I got rid of it anyway. So yeah, that's pretty much the full story. The part 2 of it, condensed into a non 15-minute video. I don't know how long I've been going on this stream, but that's pretty much the whole thing condensed. So that's that. So hopefully that will put an end for anybody who wants to clip or anybody who wants to talk about it, or if you want to react. I mean, like I said, it's not a hate thing towards the system. The system's fantastic, and there's definitely a market for it. I still have my PlayStation 5. I'll just play my third-party games on there. I have my Xbox Series. I don't really play it too much, but I have my Xbox Series. I also have a gaming PC as well, so I have a gaming PC. I also say this, and I know some people maybe got a little bit upset with this, but yeah, for me, I know it works for other people, but for me, certain games had trouble working or just not working at all. Maybe I could have looked at more information, but Pal World never worked for me. So I know for other people maybe it did, but it just didn't work for me. So that's very unfortunate because, like I said, I was looking forward to actually playing. I put a good amount of time on PC. But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts and pretty much the ending of it. I've seen so many people, the reason why I'm talking about this, I've seen so many people in comments and places say that, oh, he sold his, he's Fanboy and he sold his Steam Deck. He made a video and he was rubbing it in the face. Nah, nobody's rubbing anything in the face of anything. You know, like I said, I'm a content creator, so you make content on the stuff that you get. That's part of what you do. You know, I had one and I thought I was going to use it more and I did it. So I decided to make some content on it before I got rid of it. That's it. There's no maliciousness to the Steam Deck. I mean, there's no point in being malicious towards the Steam Deck, you know? There's no point. It's just a device. I spent $550 on it. I don't buy things just to dunk on them. I'm not stupid, you know? Like, I don't buy stuff just to make fun of it, or I don't buy things just to hate on it. That makes no sense. I mean, I know sometimes other people do that, but I was not raised to do that. That's not my character. So yeah, hopefully this can end it, and that'll be the last time that we even, you know, people can understand what was going on. And like I said, feel free to clip or feel free to talk about it or discuss or anything. I have no problem with that. Or, once again, I'm available. I'll make sure that I put this out there now that I got a good amount of people watching. I'm available. I see people clipping and people talking. I'm available to talk to me here. Like, some of you guys don't have many subscribers, man. Like, feel free to reach out. You can DM me. You can email me. We can have a debate and discussion on anything when it comes to Nintendo or anything like that. Now, one more thing that I want to talk about. I'm going to get this donation first, and then I'm going to get into more shout-outs. Cold K with the $5 says, thanks for keeping us entertained. Definitely made the wait a lot easier. 2 more weeks. Yes, sir. 2 more weeks. It's gonna be good, man. I cannot wait. Shout-outs to Justin, though. Shout-outs to Cold K. One more thing with this, guys, when it comes down to it. When it comes to having an opinion on what I say or what anybody else says or anything, I have no problem with that. You can have your opinion, even if it's off base or whatever, you can have your opinion. But one thing that I kind of pride myself on here is actually giving the right information and not spreading misinformation. Usually if I say something that's off, that's not right, somebody in the chat will correct me and I'll correct myself. So if there ever is any misinformation that I say or anything like that, let me know. But I don't think I spread misinformation. And once again, I am completely civilly normal. I can talk to anybody. So if you're a content creator or if you're someone else and you think I'm spreading misinformation, or you're taking, you know, what I say on here and saying, oh, look at him, he's saying this, I'm here to discuss, debate, and like I said, we can have a real discussion like men, you know, like man to man about it, which I can't get bigger YouTubers to come talk to me because they're scared. So if you're a smaller YouTuber and you want to come talk to me or debate and discuss, we can do it on any channel that you want, as long as you're not crazy. I have no problem doing that. So that's the reason why I wanted to make this stream. And we're going to get into more content. I want to talk about the gaming news, but I wanted to make sure that I'm very clear that I have no problem. So I have no problem with people having their issues, like opinions and all that. But to say that I'm ever spreading misinformation, that's something that I don't take too lightly. So feel free to reach out and discuss.
I got the N64 controller for NSO.
Yeah.
How the F did I use this controller back then? Lol.
Thank you for the $3. Yeah, the N64 controller was crazy. Yeah, it's a pretty crazy controller. But I mean, at the time, it was kind of like futuristic and revolutionary. You know, it was really cool at the time. So thank you. Shout outs to Justin, man. Thank you for the multiple donos, man. Appreciate that. Let's go. I think that's 11 on the board. Yeah, yes sir, 11. So yeah, shout outs to you guys, everybody that's watching. Once again, I wanted to wait till I had a good audience. But yeah, if you're a content creator and you want to talk, you want to discuss or debate, or if you feel that I'm spreading misinformation or wrong information, or that what I said or anything like that, feel free. Listen, guys, it's okay to have passionate discussions, okay? It's okay to be a Nintendo fan or a Microsoft fan or an Xbox fan. It's okay to say you disagree with this, you agree with this. It's okay to say I don't care about what somebody else thinks. I'm going to play this game, or I'm going to be excited for this. We're all individuals, we're all humans, we're all people. That doesn't mean if you discuss something, or if you give objectively good information or facts or whatever, that you're a terrible person, or that you're a crazy fanboy, or that you're this or you're that, especially if you're actually talking about what's happening, especially if it's objectively correct. And that's what I do here. I mix super big passion with objective analysis and information.
Let's
you know?
be real. You will never ease these crazy Steam Deck fanboys' rage unless you kiss Steam Deck's asses. They will keep saying you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You barely use your Steam Deck. Stop lying about Palworld on Steam Deck, etc. lol.
Listen, I said what I said on there, and once again, I'm more than happy to come through, and maybe we can even pull up the live stream where I showed that it wasn't working. I mean, it was a while ago, but I know I talked about it on my live stream and stuff. So yeah, but shout outs to Minato. I wanted to, like I said, just finish it off because I still see people saying that, and I still see some people, you know, talking. So the offer's out there with the
Also,
3.
have you seen the Shadow Labyrinth new trailer? It's basically Pac-Man Championship Edition 3.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm gonna check it out for sure. We'll watch it on today's stream. Shout outs to Justin, man. Thank you for the multiple donos already, dude. Appreciate that. But yeah, it's not really to ease the concerns of any crazy Steam Deck fans, or any crazy Nintendo fans, or any crazy anything fans. It's like I said, simply to tell the truth. The one thing that we do on this stream is that I give you guys my honest shot. I give you guys my authentic shot. Some people don't like my delivery, and that's fine. That's the reason why I wanted to kind of do it in this type of way, where it's still animated a little bit, but it wasn't too crazy. But at the same time, like I said, I'm open and I'm available for discussion, debate, and discussing this. I've got Discord open right now at this point. And if you're any of these other content creators, and if you're watching or you're clipping or you're discussing, we can go into Discord right now and you can tell me what misinformation or what problems were being spread in an actual discussion. So I have Discord open. So yeah, if there's anybody that's some wild vigilantes or anything like that that want to discuss any type of misinformation or any type of discussion on Nintendo, on gaming, what I think, what I don't think, Discord's open. Let me know if you're in the chat, or let me know if you're on Twitter. So there you go. I want to put that out there. We can have a nice call in. So that's available. Once again, civil. No name calling, no anything like that. No craziness. A good discussion. And like I said, it's open for the rest of tonight. But let's get into the actual comments and to the news. And if there's anybody that wants to accept, feel free to do that. All right. Let's see here. Just a rage baiting. Can you buy the Steam Deck 2 for when it comes out? Yeah. People call fanboys first because they're offense attacking, so the fanboys, right? They are hypocritical. One thing that I've noticed is that you're not allowed to be passionate about anything. Like if you show passionate about, you know, Nintendo or RPGs or this or that or even just anything, that's a problem. People don't like that if they don't like what you're talking about. So that's the first problem. Second, it devolves into you're a fanboy. You're this, you're that, you're whatever. Even if you're actually speaking objective facts, even if you're speaking stuff that's correct. I don't spread misinformation. I give my opinion on what's happening here. I give my opinion on what's going on. That's what I do here. That's what we do. And we do it passionately, we do it fun. So that's what happens, man. But like I said, Discord's open. Let me know if any of those people are here or the people reach some of those people. I'm available any day of the week except for Wednesdays and Sundays. I'm available. Let's actually get to the root and the discussion of Nintendo topics and all that. I've been wanting to do this my whole life in terms of getting that. I did debate in high school. I thought I was pretty good at it. I've done multiple debates here as well. So yeah, I'm open. Let's see here. Shoutouts to Gaming Mariner with the $5. My patience was rewarded yesterday as I got a physical copy of Expedition 33 from Amazon early than expected. OJ, music from Expedition 33, please. Yes, I'll get that for you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that $5 dono. And also Casual Noob with the dollar says I have Cyberpunk on PS5 Pro, but I'm excited to play it on Switch too. It's kind of like you're married to a 10 supermodel, but then you want to check out the girl who's a 7 because everyone tells you it's not going to be as good, but you got to know. Yeah, you know what? I'm married to a 10. So, yeah, I don't check out the girl that's a 7. But, I mean, I can see what you're saying from the outside looking in. I see what you're trying to say, for sure. Thank you. Thank you for the dono, Casual Noob. I appreciate that. Shout outs. And thank you so much, Gaming Mariner, with the dono as well, man. I appreciate that. 28 on the board. We out here. We've already got our first overclock, 15-minute extension going on 2 more combos, and we'll get that 30-minute. Let's go.
Overclock Buster!
Let's go, man. Shout-outs. Let's see. Monado Mario with the $10 JoJo.
Here's my first JoJo donation.
Let's go.
And lol, and I guarantee some banana man gonna react to your video like a weirdo. And his crazy viewers are even worse. And
What?
with misinfo, let me guess. It's about the game chat requires your phone number? Saw Fritz video.
No, there's no misinformation on that. Apparently it does require that. So I don't really mind when it comes to it. I don't really see it as any type of big deal. And the reason why is that I use my cell phone for 2-factor authentication on all my systems. And so it's not really a big deal to me. And 2, it's because of the of the privacy concerns and potential predators and things like that. That's my guess on why, because of the swap note controversy. For those who don't know what the swap note controversy was that you didn't really need to verify anything to use swap note with somebody else. All you had to do was have their friend code, and there was a huge predator swap note situation that happened on the Nintendo 3DS. So I'm personally guessing that that's the reason why they want to have verification, so it cannot be abused by minors or people who aren't old enough to even have a phone or whatever the case is, or they have to verify through that. That would be my guess overall. If you don't want your phone number on there, you can always use something called Google Voice, and Google Voice just simply allows you to make a dummy number, and it even has messaging and all that. So you can essentially just put up a number that's not actually yours. It's just a phone number. That's any number, and you can just use that number instead. And that will have you, you can go through and just use that. So you don't even have to really give your actual number. Just use Google Voice. It's very simple and easy to do. So I don't really see it as any issue, and there's no misinformation with that. If you don't want to put in your number for verification and all that type of stuff, you don't have to. Don't use it. But if you are worried about privacy concerns or potential, them siphoning your number for something, simply just use Google Voice, and that will take care of that. So yeah. Let's see here. Can I still keep my same Nintendo account with transferring games to Switch 2? Of course you can. It's the same Nintendo account. Or I need to make a whole new account with Nintendo? No. That's something that we've known from the very beginning. We actually knew that about 5 years ago when Nintendo put up their first. They said that Nintendo accounts are going to migrate over to the next gen system. So we've actually known that for years now. Not only that, but we've also made I've made videos about that, Nin, talking about how you can just transfer your account. That's been well known for a long time. So yeah. Let's see, people getting upset about monitoring and moderating content on game chat. Well, if you don't want that, then just stick to Discord. Some people would appreciate moderated platform. Yeah, once again, I think it's to keep. There's issues with predators and certain things like that. I think that's the biggest problem because it's voice and it's video. Voice chat is one thing, right? Swap note is one thing, but it's voice and video. So I think that's probably the biggest issue that they're seeing there. So having one, making sure that you're real and you're not spamming or whatever the case is, right? Although they could tie it to your account as well, but having something to where you can verify would actually be, like I said, would help cut back on some of that. But once again, people can still use Google Voice. But Google Voice is still tracked. It's tied to your phone, but it's not tied to your actual phone number. So if you think that they're going to take your number and give it to somebody else, well, it's going to be a dummy number that you can get rid of anytime you want. You can delete Google Voice. You can pull up a different number. They give you different options. So you can just use Google Voice if you're worried about that type of thing. Let's see here. Let's see, OJ trolling. He has to know that half the Steam Deck YouTubers are a bit off. You can almost see the mental gymnastics. No, I wasn't trolling at all. There's actually, like I said, a lot of good things about it. I wouldn't have bought the Steam Deck if I didn't think that it was something that I wanted to use in the first place. Once again, I don't spend $550 just to spend $550. Like, there's no point in me doing that. And it's not like I instantly made videos bashing the Steam Deck or anything like that. So no, it's really nothing to do with that. Like I said, I still see some people talking about that or upset about that video. And I think, like I said, if there's any issue, people can just reference this. Or what I was hoping to do was kind of a little bit of a bait and switch. I was hoping, because people are clipping, right? So I was hoping that people actually, which I probably got some people like, oh snap, I can't post this. It's actually him being normal and just talking about the Steam Deck like normal, which I did in my original video. But once again, it was a lot shorter this time. But I was really hoping what I do is I bait some of the people into actually watching, like coming here ready to clip or ready to say something, and then I'd actually just say what I said, right? So I think mission probably accomplished for some of that. But like I said, at the end of the day, people are allowed to play whatever they want, man. Like, if you want to play Steam Deck, play it. I support it. I wanted to get a Steam Deck when it first came out, like when they first, like the LCD model. I was like, oh, let me just get this, but then I couldn't buy it. The website crapped out on me. So I just waited till the revision, and yeah, I tried it out. It's okay. It's just, like I said, it's just not for me, but it's not a bad system. It's a good system. There's a passionate fan base behind it, man. I mean, obviously, it's not selling anywhere near, anywhere near like a normal console or normal device from Nintendo would sell or something like that, or PlayStation or Xbox, even the Xbox Series. But it's still good for, for what it can do. Like, what if you're looking to do certain things, like there are people that still like it. Same thing like with ROG Ally and some of these other devices too. It's all good for people that want to play those. So yeah. Let's see. I saw a video of you crashing out, or someone mentioning that Switch 2 has no VR. I didn't really crash out. In my opinion, like, I don't think I crashed out. I just simply said I was tired of the people coming here and like trolling me for no reason. Like, they don't even care that there's no VR. They're just coming here to troll and like the clip. So I was kind of tired of people just trolling, because they just come here just to troll. So it's just like stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't really crash out though. In my opinion, I kind of just turned it up a little bit. But yeah, no crashing out. Let's see. People just sound like Fritz trying to downplay Switch 2. That sounds like Fritz just trying to downplay Switch 2 whenever he can. Of course, Fritz trying to make his way. Bad thing once again. He still spreads misinformation too anyway, and that's fine. People are allowed to say whatever they want. In my opinion, all of the people that are talking about Switch 2 that don't even care or even like Nintendo games or whatever, it's just free advertising at the end of the day. Like, that's why the launch is going to be so big. I mean, listen, I don't know if you guys have seen it or not. And once again, you're allowed to dislike or like whatever you want to like. In my opinion, because of the swap note controversy, I definitely want there to be some type of moderation or some type of thing, so it does protect some people. Now, yes, on the parents to do that and all that, and I completely understand, but there definitely needs to be some type of thing, because people can get crazy. Voice and video, you know what I'm saying? Like, that can be kind of crazy. So I don't mind, once again, and I use my cell phone for two-step verification on all my platforms, on Microsoft and Sony. So for me, it doesn't really matter too much. Now, I can see for other people, that could be an issue. Just simply use just simply use Google Voice, and that completely takes care of that. So yeah. Steam Deck community is actually insane if they're allowed, as there are 100 million of them, and they spend more time dunking on Switch 2 than playing their Steam Deck. And I think that's one of the reasons why Switch did so well. Believe it or not, like, here's what I'll tell you guys. Here's the medium when it comes down to, like, here's the medium. Even like when people are saying, oh, I saw you crash out on someone, or I saw you say this, all it does is just bring more people to the channel. All it does is just bring more attention on the person who's streaming. There's a reason why I'm getting consistent subscribers, I'm getting consistent viewers, I'm getting consistent support, and all of that type of stuff. There's a reason why. Because one, it's not just because you just here for Nintendo. Is I actually cover good information. We actually cover interesting things on this channel. There's a lot more to it. And once again, I'm not scared of anybody. I don't even back down. You know what I'm saying? So people like that. Now, obviously, there's some people that don't like that, whatever. They just say you're coping, or you're this, or you're that. But once again, I've offered it up to anybody, once again, on my Twitter page. If you want to have a real discussion as a man or as a content creator, we can do that. I mean, people do that all the time. There's crossovers all the time. And every single person that I've reached out to that has had something to say, they've all ran away. They've all ran away. They've all said, they've all ghosted me. They've all are too scared. They're too scared to simply talk to another grown man. Because once again, mentally, they're just not quite all there. They're not quite all there to actually have a real discussion or debate, because they know what they're saying about me or what they're doing. They know that it's theatrics, right? They know that it's like, oh man, like he actually really is not crazy or a super crazy fan. He has all the systems. They know that if they got into a discussion with me one-on-one, that all their stuff that they would bring up that's a gotcha on a video doesn't actually work when you debate somebody one-to-one. It doesn't actually work that way. So that's the reason why they run. That's the reason why they clip. That's the reason why they don't accept my invites. So my Discord's still open, by the way, if they're clipping. My Discord's still open, and I'm still able to have a discussion one-on-one. Once again, civil. Now, the last time that I had a discussion with someone, it was like a grifter, right? He got absolutely obliterated. He got and he got so mad that he got obliterated. He reacted to my stream afterwards, just completely stopping me at every single point, stopping me and saying, no this, no this. This dude got absolutely obliterated, and he know that he did. There was many times I had him gagged. He had no idea what to say. He did not have facts. It was all just my opinion on things. There was no actual information. He provided absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Almost nothing. Like literally nothing. So the problem with a lot of these people, once again, they're not here to actually discuss the issues and facts and different stuff like that and have a conversation civilly about it. They're here to try to mock, and they're here to try to say, oh, you're this, and because they have a hatred towards a product. That's really what it comes down to. That's really what it comes down to. I'm not linking or I'm not sourcing anybody else's nonsense, you know? So yeah. They have an issue with the product. They have a problem with someone being excited. That's what it seems like to me. They have a problem with people being excited or discussing it or whatever, since they have a problem with it. I have zero issue with people being excited about any other product, even if they go overboard or whatever the case is. If you want to be excited, or if you want to say, oh, I think this is okay, or whatever the case is, you're allowed to do that. If you want to run your stream, that's fine. Like, there's been a million people who've done that. I have no problem with that at all. So essentially, they have a problem with me hyping it up. They have a problem with me discussing and talking about it in that type of way. They don't like the fact that I do that. They don't like the fact because they don't like the product, which they've already stated multiple times that they don't like it, that they're this and that. And really, it's more fanboy wars, right? It's more of that. It's not because they actually care and they want to look out for consumers and stuff. It has nothing to do with that. It just has to do with them trying to get attention off of someone else talking about like what they like or what they dislike or whatever the case is, like, in my opinion at least. Because once again, if you were really worried about that, about this person or X, Y, and Z, you definitely would not run from a discussion or a debate to show them and their audience, hey, this is why this person's wrong. What's the point of reacting in videos and clipping and doing all that, taking all the time to do all that, and the person offers to say, hey, let's talk about it man to man, and then you go running away, you know? Whereas you're more than happy to go talk to other people about whatever and debate but you won't talk to the person who potentially can get you more subs or that you can dunk on, since all that. So yeah. Let's see here. let's see. I bet you even let's see here. Got to stop giving attention to negativity. I love a Happy Console Gamers channel. I'm not really giving any attention to negativity though. We're simply just talking about the situation and talking about what's going on here. So I'm not really being negative, and I'm not yelling about it, you know, and I'm not doing anything like that either. So there's no negativity on my end. I'm simply just, like I said, people talking about it and what the situation was. I wanted to make sure that I had something to reference when it comes down to that, you know, when it comes to some of the stuff that people say, what I said about Steam Deck, or some of the people saying that I'm spreading misinformation or stuff like that, right? Like there's no misinformation being spread. I have my opinion on what I like or what I dislike. Anything that we talk about, it's usually always sourced. I say, hey, this is where we got it from or whatever. So I want to let you guys know that I work super hard to make sure that I get that information for you guys, whether it's multiple edited videos, which take hours to make, you know, 2-3 hours to make per video, depending on what I talk about, or it's my live streams prepping topics or whatever, you know. So we do a lot, you know, we try. So I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to make sure that there was a point of reference for that, just to kind of, like I said, put the end of the whole Steam Deck thing, and also talk about, like I said, any other information that's coming out. So yeah, that's that. It's also, I think Darkster said that debate was pretty chill and civil, but from what I said it's chill, but I keep saying the same arguments, even plain semantics. Yeah, it's all good. Most people are too emotional. Yeah. Yeah, some people are. So let's see here. Yeah, I never comment, but I always come here because OJ keeps it real. Thank you, Ben. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for coming here. I appreciate that. But yeah, that's that. You know, that's pretty much everything that I wanted to say on that. Once again, I would have never said anything if I didn't see it and some people linking me. So I wanted to, like I said, address it. Open book. I love debates. I've always been a big fan of debates. And if someone is spreading misinformation and I'm willing to call them out on a video or discuss it in a vid, and if they wanted to invite me on, I'd have no problem. If they say that, hey, look, you're spreading misinformation and you're lying about things, and they said, hey, well, you come on and talk to me about it, I'd be like, sure, if I felt pretty confident about that. So the invitation is out there, civil, no name calling, no nothing. So let me know. Twitter @PlayerEssence. If you got my email, I'm not going to address it after this. So that's the last time. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. But yeah, once again, I'm here to spread good information, positive vibes and energy overall. Little bit, like I said, a little bit crazy at times. Yeah, we kind of yell about certain things and all that. But it all comes from a passion and love for video games and a passion and love for Nintendo content, RPG content, gaming overall. It's not from a form of negativity or hate, honestly. Like, it comes from like I said, the only times I get a little bit heated is when people come here and try to troll or get it twisted with me for no reason, when I didn't do anything to them, you know? So, or when they're sitting here and just like I said, being being rude or whatever for no reason. So, yeah. So that's that. Anyway, Discord's open. I haven't gotten any messages yet. So I don't think anybody's coming. I don't think anybody's coming, but I haven't received any messages on Twitter either. So yeah. So I think, like I said, we can just close the book on this one. Shout outs to Uncario with the 800 yen. Says, I do think it's necessary the Switch or Switch 2 platform that they hate. I do think it's necessarily the Switch or Switch 2 platform that they hate. I think it's Nintendo. They hate people like the fun and whimsical Big N. Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think it's just people don't like Nintendo. So when you see content creators that talk about Nintendo in a positive light or anything good, and there's not enough negative stuff for your taste, it turns into they never speak negatively about Nintendo. They never say anything bad. They defend every single decision, even though a lot of it is, like I said, speaking objective facts or speaking objectively is not defense. That's simply video game discussion. That's how discussion is. Discussion is give and take, point and go back and forth. That's how discussion is. That's not defense. It's not. Everybody thinks that if you don't dogpile on something, it means it's a defense. Like, I didn't dogpile on what Randy Pitchford had to say about $80 games. You know the reason why I didn't dogpile on that? Because what he said was just what he said. I don't really care. I wasn't going to buy Borderlands day one anyway, so it doesn't matter to me. I'm just going to wait for a discount. But I don't like what he said. I don't like $80, but just because I didn't go nuts about it doesn't mean it's in defense of Borderlands. I just said, hey, look, he said what he said. Obviously, he doesn't set the price. You know, he probably shouldn't have said what he said out loud. That's not necessarily a good thing to do. But at the same time, like, I'm not going to get all up in arms about it. He said what he said, and that's it. You know, there's no need for me to defense or this or that. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. You know, doesn't really matter. So I think that's the problem that we see a lot in gaming today. If you're not carrying a pitchfork for something that probably isn't even that big of a deal or isn't really even a problem for most people, if you're not yelling and screaming about it, people want to turn you into something that you're not. That's why I've offered to debate anybody that wants to talk that type of way, but they don't want to do it because once again, it'll disprove what they say in their videos and in their whatever the picture that they want to paint. So yeah, I can do no face. We don't have to do a face to debate, by the way. We don't have to do a face. We can do no face to debate. You set up a debate with another YouTuber talking about Nintendo fanboys, so it's not happening. Yeah, I did, but he ghosted me. I reached out back to him, and then he ghosted me. So yeah. Most topic stuff I've seen is coming from Xbox guys. PlayStation, Nintendo fans don't really seem to be starting wars. Yeah, that's definitely not true. There's definitely Nintendo fans that are out there saying all sorts of crazy stuff, and also PlayStation fans. I don't think PC fanboys actually care about how you feel about Steam Deck. All they care about is getting a reaction out of you to make you look like a bad guy, just finally call you fanboy. And like Nintendo, yeah, that's Danzo. That's I think what it actually ends up happening. But we see so much online is that we see so many people that you're not allowed to be a Nintendo fan. You're not allowed to not care about something that somebody else is so passionate and angry about. I don't think that you're a fanboy or that you're crazy, because if like I said, this is just theoretically speaking, if you don't care that individual copies of Mario Kart outside of the bundle are $80, that doesn't make you a fanboy or stupid or dumb or whatever. It doesn't matter. That's your opinion. You don't have to like it. That doesn't make you crazy. That's just what you feel like. Just like there's going to be people who buy $80 Microsoft games. There's going to be people who buy $100 GTA. There are people who buy $80, Forza on PS5 or $100 Forza on PS5. I don't think anybody's dumb for simply, or I don't think anybody's crazy or a fanboy for simply spending their own money on something that they want to spend. Now, and some people say, oh, well, your defense. It's like, no, if you don't care or if you don't feel like it's a big problem for you, then that's fine. That's your issue. That's your problem. That's your situation. Okay, lots of people have different opinions on things when it comes down to it. Now, I obviously disagree, but that doesn't mean you're the worst person in the world, or that doesn't mean you're the terrible, or you defend everything, or you're just the worst, or whatever the case is. It's just you have a difference of opinion, and that's all it comes down to, because we all have opinions on multiple different things, And I think the internet culture says that if you're not acting if you're a content creator, especially, and you're not acting a certain way and being angry and making multiple things because the internet is mad, that then you're this, and that's not it. That's not intelligent discussion, Crashing out on someone or someone getting angry about whatever, like because of the trolling, that was the situation where I got upset about, because people were coming here and just acting weird and acting goofy for no reason, when they don't even care about Nintendo or even play the games. They don't care,
I saw what you said on Twitter and I agree with it.
Yeah, thank you for the 3.
I feel like a lot of fans got caught up in the power discussion and lost sight of what's important,
Yeah.
the games.
Yeah.
The Switch 2 isn't a PS5, and that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, and I never expected it to be, because it's a small hybrid device compared to a big hulking box, so yeah. Let's see. I love Blunty, especially how much he makes people who are anti-Nintendo mad. Also, I love Steam Deck, but that portable has its issues. Yeah, and like every system has its issues, one way or another, or whatever the case is. Every system has its issues, so. Let's see, I'm a Nintendo fanboy, so without Nintendo, our favorite games wouldn't exist, so the industry would be stagnant. Yeah, I mean, but like I said, they're trying to... I would have no problem with that being said if they're not trying to discredit what you say because of that. It's not because that's the problem, is that, oh, your knowledge, your discussion, your whatever is invalid. You're just saying this because you're a fanboy, and that's how they're using it. Now, once again, that's the reason why I offered to debate. I'm like, well, if I'm just a fanboy and I'm just... if I'm just being illogical with what I'm saying, feel free to come here and we can discuss and show me how illogical I am. It should be pretty easy, right? Just like whenever I've debated someone when it comes to someone that I truly disagree with on certain stuff, not Nintendo related stuff, but other things, let's just be real. Like, it's been in anything, it hasn't been much, but like in any of the recent stuff that I've had, they've been absolutely destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Because that type of stuff on Twitter, that type of stuff on the chat room here or on videos, it works there, but it doesn't really work in a vocal discussion. I'm a communication major. I know the difference between chat, social media, video, edited video, where you can deceptively edit things and to cut people off and to make your points. And I know the difference between like an actual debate. There's a reason why people have no problem yelling at me in text message form, right? But will absolutely run away when I say, well, you want to come on and talk about it? All of a sudden they disappear. They shadow clone jutsu. You know, they smoke bombs. So there's a reason why they do that. And the reason why they do that is because it'd be really bad for them, because they look silly. And like I said, it's really because it's part of it is because I like Nintendo. Part of it is that's part of it. It's not because they want to try to prove something or for the community. It's just because they don't like the fact that there are people that like it, and maybe even a little bit of jealousy. It's doing better than what they like, the attention. Some people don't like that. Humans, we have a lot of emotion. There is jealousy. There's resentment. There's stuff. There are people that are so invested in gaming that they get jealous and they have resentment towards something else that's taking the attention away from what they like. Like, if you don't think that's a thing, then I would say you need to explore the human psyche a little bit more. But there are people that get so attached to these video games and so attached to these systems and so attached to this that if somebody simply, once again, says something that they don't like from a different community or whatever the case is, like if they're not even involved with it, right? It's on a different channel, it's on whatever. They get so upset and take it to the point to where they get so angry or whatever, or they want to just say that this person's like the worst person in the world. So yeah. Let's see here. Kevin with the $1 dono says, "What's up, OJ? How you doing? How are you? I was wondering if you're going to remaster editions of Tales of Arise and Tales of Arise Scarlet Next for Switch 2. Can get any music from Chrono Trigger?" Yeah, I think I've missed the music. I think I was supposed to get some music before, and I totally missed that. So let me get that first. Expedition 33. Then we're gonna get your music. Expedition 33. But thank you, Justin. I appreciate the $3 dono, man. Thank you so much. Thank you for the $3 dono. Let's see. I have to guess. Nobody ever told me that I'm bad at debating. No, that's not. Nobody ever told me that. I've tried myself helping or advising people who have negative comments on videos. It's basically told I'm wrong or a shill. Really need to stop reading comments. Yeah, exactly. I've stopped reading comments too. I don't really read too many. So yeah. If you guys have questions on other things, feel free to let me know in the chat. So that was pretty much the main topics that I wanted to go over. Now we can kind of get to other stuff. But if you guys have questions or comments, feel free to let me know in the chat. But yeah, like I said, I pride myself on not spreading misinformation. So if I ever do, let me know, and obviously we'll try to correct that. What's up, Kevin? Welcome to the stream, dude. How you doing today? I'm wondering if we're going to get remastered. Yeah, thank you for the $1 dono, man. We'll see about the remastered versions of those. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we are. Let's see here. Danzo, yeah, I heard what Danzo said, and I think he's saying the truth. Just put it the GameCube controller, let's go. Dude, I looked at the GameCube controller, and it said that item limit reached. So yeah, like it said that item limit reached, and I couldn't get it. So I don't know, is it still available or not? How do you think the casual people react to Switch 2 prices as they see them the first time in the store? I think it's actually, personally for me, I think it's not too bad overall. Especially if you look at like how much the Xbox Series is now in stores, like the Xbox Series X, or if you look at some of the prices, obviously for other portable PC handhelds, whenever like a ROG Ally, if it's next to that or something, I don't think it's actually too bad. I think that it's okay. I do think some people are, oh man, that's more expensive, but people are already paying $350 for the Switch, so $100 more. That's definitely like, oh snap. Oh snap, like that's definitely more, but I don't think it's gonna I don't think it's gonna be too bad, even with normies like for $450, or the Mario Kart bundle. Like I don't think it's too bad, because once again you get it docked to the TV, you get it on the go, and it's a higher quality system. So, but yeah, I can definitely see for like some families, oh man, $100 more, but I think a lot of people have kind of just like adjusted to like, okay, everything's went up in price, right? Everything's kind of higher in price. Monitors, laptops, TVs, everything's kind of going up. So yeah. Have you thought about how hot the Switch 2 will run? It seems pretty powerful system to only really small fans cooling it. Well, I mean, it doesn't generate a lot of wattage, so the wattage is based on how hot it will run for the most part, right? It was like how many watts it has, and it's a pretty low watt system. So having a fan in there, or like a double fan in there, would be good. And then of course there's a fan in the dock, which unlike the Switch 1, there was no fan in the dock. So they've put some precautions to making sure that it runs cooler. How do you feel about the haptics being turned on in COD BO6? I don't even know what that means. I'm not really sure. I think you said on Spawncast that that Nintendo Switch 2 update or Switch 2. I want that so bad. Oh, for Xenoblade? Yeah, that'd be nice. Looking forward to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet on Switch 2. It was so fun to play on Switch if you could get past all the funny glitches. Yeah, to me, it wasn't even the glitches that were the biggest problem. It was the frame rate. That was the biggest issue for me. Console price definitely just rage baiting from the Switch 2 haters. Barely anyone was upset about the Switch 2 price. I mean, like I said, if you're talking about like the core gamers, like we know the prices of like the ROG Ally, we know the prices of the Steam Deck, we know the prices of the other systems. So for us, for seeing how powerful the system is or what it can do, I don't think it's really that big of a deal. But I think for like maybe like the casual audience, they might say like, oh man, that's $100 more than I paid for my Switch OLED, right? Or that's $200 more than I paid for a Switch Lite. But I think once they do a little bit of information on like, oh wow, I can like it looks a lot better, it runs this better, like they'll be like, oh okay, I get it, like I can actually play games way better. So you're getting a stronger system. Let's see here. Hey OG, did you see the highlights of the Knicks smoking? I think you meant blowing that game. Blowing the game. Yes, I did see the highlights. Scott, what do you think about the rumor guess about Nintendo requiring... that's not a rumor. They put that on there. It seems like it's required for their service. I hope it isn't true. It's not for their service. It's for game chat. So, yes, they put... you need a phone number. And the reason why, it's for privacy concerns and verification. So it keeps psychos from doing psycho things on there. So if you don't want to put your phone number in there, that's fine. You don't have to put your phone number in there if you want to use game chat. You don't have to. Just use Google Voice. And Google Voice, that'll get you a dummy number, and then you can use that. That has messaging and everything. So if you don't want to put your real number, you can go ahead and put your put that. But I already use my cell phone for two-step verification, like two-factor authentication on my Nintendo, on Xbox, and PlayStation. I use it for everything. So you probably should already be using that anyway, just in case so in case somebody's trying to hack your account, whatever. If they're trying to change your password, it'll send you something to your phone. So you probably should already be doing that anyway. But if you aren't, that's fine too, but yeah, just use Google Voice. But if you're concerned, or if you're worried about that, then don't do it. Don't use it. Or you can be upset either way, but for me, like I said, I think it's so you don't want psychos on there and you don't want people doing the swap note controversy. I think that's the biggest reason why it's there for children. Make sure that you get verification to where people can't be doing crazy stuff without any type of like being able to track you down normally, at least. So that's my thought process on it. But once again, doesn't really matter to me too much because I already use my phone on all my platforms for two-step verification. So yeah. I agree. As a Canadian, I have no problem with the price of Switch 2. $30 less than the PS5 here. Okay. I saw what the system can easily actually do. 450 price. Didn't feel so bad. 400 would have been nice. Yeah, 400 would have definitely been nice. Which style of platform do you prefer, 2D or 3D? I think 2D has better games overall. They're both good. It just depends. What's up, SK Massive? Got the game controller? Nice. Right now we clicked Nintendo's website today and able to grab Switch 2 game controller. They may have some left. Okay, cool. I'm not really super right-wing when it comes to opinions, but being me, but I would honestly create a point pass. I don't think it has anything to do with right-wing or not. Ultra? Like, I don't think it has anything to do with politics, right? About the phone number required, just wait for dumb arguments like, but OJ, you said Switch 2 is mostly adults who buy, barely any kids who buy Switch 2. Well, no, but kids are gonna play it. I'm just saying that they're their biggest audience. I didn't say that. So I never said that barely any kids. I said that the biggest audience are older people. Yes, but kids still play. You still got to protect the children that go on the system. Unkari with the $5.
I've never actually seen Nintendo fans, creators starting wars attacking other platforms. Maybe I just don't know about it, but I've only seen Nintendo fans responding to attacks on Nintendo, never instigating. I honestly think N fans don't care enough, lol.
In terms of content creation, there's only one guy that I know. So let's see here. In terms of content creation, there's only one guy that I know that just attacks other things, like a big Nintendo person, and he has like, let's just say he has less than 10,000 subs. He has less than 8,000 subs. And there's only one person that I know that does that. And if I want to laugh, I watch the videos just because it's so bat-ish crazy. But all of the Nintendo content creators that I follow, none of them do that. So there are Xbox and PlayStation content creators that I've seen do that. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't any, like, a lot. I don't think there's a lot. Most people don't care. This fanboy war, whatever you want to call it, it's basically played out on Twitter. It's played out on social media. It's not played out most of the time, like, on videos. Like, you know, it's just people calling other people out, you know, and just talking. Gamers, the one thing that I notice about gamers, a lot of gamers, is that they think since they play mature rated games that they're actually mature and tough. So that certain gamers will talk a certain way, act a certain way, do a certain thing because, I don't know, maybe because video games make them act that certain way or something. But most of them are actually marshmallows and teddy bears IRL, or just miserable. Like, most of them, they're not going to say or do anything IRL. It's just a persona for online. And I don't really take it too seriously. Nobody should, but I still do offer people to come through, just because I think it's good entertainment. But yeah, I don't really. Most people don't care. Yeah, I'm not gonna say any names. I'm not saying any names. I would create a point-based system to decide which console has the overall. Oh, a point-based system. Okay, no problem. What's up, Roger? Welcome. Great state of Kentucky. And maybe one of these days for sure, Roger. Nintendo always feels like they have the easiest company for them to attack because they attack even harder when Nintendo is doing really good, like the Switch era. I think that obviously it's interesting because there are some things that obviously that you can, like, you know, that I don't like or that you could attack or whatever the case is. But it's also, since there is a large base and it's an old company, it's kind of easy to just mention anything, you know, and just to consistently pile on no matter what, like, regardless, even if it's not a big deal, it's easy to just do that for some people. Once again, you can make money off of it, you can do whatever. But at the end of the day, like I said, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Like, people are going to buy what they want. People are going to play what they want. People are allowed to be angry and upset. If you want to spend your day being angry or upset, if you want to spend your, you know, your whatever, being angry or upset all the time in every single video, then that's fine too. You know? JCat with the 56 months tuned into your membership. Thank you so much. Hey, what's up, Charles? Welcome. On Point for Gamer constantly makes fun of PS ponies. They hardly have anything positive to say about PlayStation. Yeah, like I said, there's definitely some people that I know that are hardcore that go after Xbox a lot, you know, that are kind of crazy. But like I said, it's not most people, Green Ninja. It's not. It's a very small vocal minority. You know, it's not really like a lot of people. Shout out to JCat. Thank you for the 56 months. That's it with the $5 says, oh shoot, afternoon. Oh shoot, or shoot, great afternoon. Hopefully all is well here. Awesome done at the end of the account. Music request F0 any track? Yes, sir. I got you, man. I actually need to get to some more music as well. Hey, what's up, Ralphie? Shout outs, man. Yo, we hit the 60 on here. Let's go. Overclocks. Let's go. And let me get the next music, though. We need to actually get some more music that I missed. Chrono Trigger, I can't play. I can't play Chrono Trigger music. And the reason why I can't play Chrono Trigger music is because it's copyrighted. So I can't play Chrono Trigger music. But I can play Chrono Cross. So let's play some Chrono Cross, Scars of Time. So I can play Chrono Cross music, but I can't play Chrono Trigger music, which is weird, but I just can't. So yeah, shout out to Rafi though. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Let's go. Thank you for the donos, guys. I appreciate that. Hey, what's up, Adroxus? Welcome. How you doing today, young lady? So yeah. But I do think, once again, like I said, to kind of, people talk about like not being negative and kind of going more towards positive. I honestly think all of this talk and discussion about Switch 2 is making people more excited, because let me give you guys the breakdown of it and what happens. It's okay to be upset about certain things. There's some things, like I said, that I'm upset about. But most of the main issues that I had with Switch 1 have been alleviated. I'm not going to be fake, and I'm not going to just sit here and be angry at Switch 2 just to be angry because other people are angry. I'm not. That's just corny. I've always felt that it's corny. I've done it before, and it's not fun. So I'm going to try to be real as much as I can. I'm not going to get all angry and upset about some things, you know, or whatever, when I'm not really actually angry or upset about it, you know?
Mario Kart World is sounding better and better the more they reveal.
Yes.
Can I get Mario Kart 8 title theme for old time's sake?
Yeah, I actually had a
Lol.
big video on Mario Kart World, and a lot of you guys really liked that video. That video did really well. So a lot of you guys really liked it. I did the video last night. It's over nearly 14K views. And I had like a lot of 100 plus comments. I had a lot of likes. So a lot of you guys really liked that video that I did. So we did a deep dive on Mario Kart, and it was fun. It was fun. It's good stuff. Shout out to Justin, man. Thank you for another dono. Appreciate that, man. Ralphie with the $20 dono as well. Thank you so much, Ralphie. And Unkari with the $5 dono. Thank you so much.
My last comment on this. I think those who just can't take it that PPL have fun with Nintendo and like it are just insecure and likely jealous that they're not having fun the same way. Like hardcore PC, PS,
Yeah.
XB peeps never get to play games like Mario Wonder.
I mean, there's emulation. People can try to do stuff like that. People, ripping and all that. But yeah, you're right. Like, it's not like a normal release. Yeah, not to go back to negative, but you guys are allowed to talk about what you want in terms of this type of stuff, right? Like, if you guys have a question or you guys want to talk about it, that's fine. If my answers get shorter and shorter, it's because I don't feel like talking about it, or if I just say, hey, it is what it is. I don't really feel like doing it anymore, so I'll answer the questions, especially if you attach a dono to it. Ralphie, I'll get your dono in just a bit, but yeah, I think that's an issue. Like, if we're being real here, there are people that are just angry that people like, it's just my personal opinion. There are people that are definitely angry that people just like Nintendo. Like, I don't care, honestly, like, legitimately. I do not care if somebody really likes PlayStation. And even if they say things about PlayStation in their defense of what they really like or whatever, I don't care. Like, if somebody wanted to defend Sony raising the price to $70 to Kingdom Come, I don't care. If somebody wants to defend Sony charging for a disk drive, literally, I saw people defending Sony for charging for a disk drive. I made 0 videos. I called out 0 people. You probably shouldn't charge for a disk drive to play your physical games on a premium system, but I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Now, is that the right thing or wrong thing? It doesn't matter at the end of the day. If people want to defend the high prices, or if people want to give their opinion on why they don't care or why it doesn't matter to them because they work a lot or they make a lot of money or they have no kids or their money goes to this or that, that's irrelevant. All that matters is what I gotta say. For all that matters to me when it comes to just my own personal thoughts is like, all that matters is my own opinion. And if you want to agree or disagree, that's completely fine. But there's no point in going out here and trying to be some type of weird internet vigilante or internet call out person. And it's like, no, you're not. you're just silly. It just ends up being really silly and like clout chasing, because it just doesn't make any sense to me with that. So that's just something that people do. But I think that once again, it's because they're angry about, maybe it's because they're angry that they don't get to have the same fun. Once again, there are lots of different personalities that are on the internet that that come out here that say all sorts of stuff. So yeah, man. I mean, that could be it, Uncario, for sure. That could be it. Big love to Ralphie. Thank you for the $20. There's only 2 weeks left for Mario Kart World. We got the pre-order in chat. Yes, sir. Yo, Justin with the California smash.
Let's smash this negativity
Let's go.
and bring on the hype. The new generation of Nintendo starts in pretty much a week.
It starts in pretty much a week, man. Yeah, we're pretty much through this week, so it starts in pretty much a week. So it's gonna be good, man. I am so excited about it, and my excitement once again doesn't overshadow some of the things. I want to make sure that's very clear, but I mean, it's just, how can you not get hyped for a new Mario? New Mario Kart, new 3D Mario that's coming, new Zelda that's coming, new Donkey Kong that's coming, new Metroid that's coming. These games are awesome, and it makes me happy. You get one life, originally here in terms of how you're living, depending on what you believe in and all that. We don't got to get into it, but you get one life in terms of who you are right now. Why, you know what I'm saying? Why be upset? Why be so angry about simple video games, So that's why I kind of went off on the trolls the other day, because it's like, what are you upset about? You know what I'm saying? Like, there ain't nothing really to be like, if you don't want to buy something, then don't buy it, I'm not sure about that either, Casual Noob. Shout outs though. New Xenoblades coming. New Fire Emblem, new Xeno, new Metroid, new Zelda, new, hopefully much better Pokemon. I mean, new Pokemon Legends ZA, Pokemon Legends ZA. You've got, you know, Kirby, Starcross Worlds. You've got way better frame rates and like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. Like, these were the issues. These were the main issues with Switch 1. If I had a checklist on what the main issues with Switch 1 were, it was from the, we're going to go from like, in any order, it doesn't matter, no particular order, and I'm going to get that done in just a bit in the messages. But in no particular order, it was frame rate and resolution of games. Frame rate, resolution of games. It was sometimes third-party support, how third-party support looked, and the amount of third-party support. It was the options when it comes to like the system features and options that was lacking. You know, those were the issues. Those were the main, I mean, you could say like controller, Joy-Con, you know, blah, blah, blah. You could say some of that, but those were the main issues that I saw. System features, voice chat on a cell or on a phone, you know, not through the system, you know, system features not being as good. Frame rate and resolution though were the biggest problem. The Switch 2 has fixed the frame rate and resolution issue. Like, it's completely fixed it. And it really was frame rate and resolution for first-party games. Now, yeah, third-party, people still had some issues with that. But mainly, it was, like, Nintendo's own games. Like, for example, even though they didn't make it, but it's still Zelda, right? Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. That was a big issue with that game. Or even, you know, a game like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Nintendo doesn't make that directly, but still a publisher and all that. So that was a problem, you know? And the Switch 2 fixed that. Those are my big issues. Anything else is just kind of like a little side annoyance to me. Just like there's many issues that I have, even though I still purchase, you know, Xbox and PlayStation. I have issues, but it's fine, you know? So yeah, Xenoblade, you know? That was an issue with the frame rate and resolution of Xenoblade games. I don't think we're going to get a Xenoblade game on Switch 2 that's under 30 frames. I mean, they might want to blow out the graphics and keep it at 30. Okay, that's fine if they want to do that. Or maybe they make a turn-based RPG this time, or I don't know what they're going to do. But chances are it's going to be 60 frames, or it's going to be 40 frames, or it's going to be very good, and it's going to look way better. So the frame rate and resolution is going to be fixed on the games, and that was the biggest issue. That was the biggest issue I had. Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, you know, some of these other games that have came out. Those were big issues. Shout outs to Yo Peeps with the $10. Says, what's up? At work, Phantasy Star Online, Pioneer 2 OST. Yes, I got you, man. Phantasy Star Online. Phantasy Star Online. Phantasy Star Online. Pioneer. Oh, that's a good one. Pioneer 2 theme. Thank you so much for the $10, Mr. Yo Peeps. I appreciate that. Thank you for the big 10. Also, we had a membership. George FT with the 22 months of membership. Thank you so much, man.
I knew it was getting bad when a 3D Mario had frame rate issues. Bowser Fury.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the frame rate issues in Bowser's Fury was a problem. You know, that was definitely a big problem, for sure. For sure was a big problem. Absolutely. Hey, what's the big misinformation being spread? What's up, Hero Zone? The big misinformation being spread is that apparently I'm the one spreading misinformation. So, I've stated that if there's anything that you guys want to say, I've opened it up to you guys here. I've opened it up to other content creators as well. If they want to come talk to me or discuss, I've opened it up to where we can have a discussion on anything in terms of information that I've said. And if I said something that was wrong, or if I'm spreading misinformation, that's objectively facts that I'm saying that's wrong, not my opinion on X, Y, or Z, but stuff that I'm spreading that's not true. I'm more than happy to get that cleared up and discuss that and say that I'm sorry. I'm here to do that. You know, I'm here to say that I'm sorry on that, or clear up any misinformation that apparently that's happening. So yeah. So let me know. So let me know on that. So that was it right there. Yeah, it's been crickets all stream. It's been crickets all stream. But if you guys have something, honestly, I'm not joking. If you guys have something that that you know that I said that was off or wrong, I'll apologize if it is wrong, if it's not correct. So yeah. What do you think of Pokemon's cookies? Are they worth it? I have not had her cookies. I have not had Pokemon's cookies. So I don't know how they taste or not. So yeah. Shout outs to Pokemon though. What's up, buddy? How you doing today? I like your video today. I got a question. Who's the persona? Make a video about you. Person made a video. Yeah, I'm not really too worried about people. You guys don't got to tell me. I'm not really too worried about people making videos. Once again, we're doing good on the streams. The streams always have plenty of support and people coming through, so I appreciate that. So I don't have anybody else voicing their opinion about what I like, or if they feel that I'm this or that. If they want to call names, that's fine too. I don't. It's just more free advertisement for my channel. Once again, the channel's good. I don't care if I have 1 sub or 100,000 subs. I know my channel's good, and I know that the channel's good because I've been here for this long, and it's hard to actually build up a channel to keep the consistent flow of content. So, and I get so many positive comments from so many thousands of people, whether it's comments on comment section or whether it's on YouTube, Twitter, or wherever. I get so many. It doesn't matter if people are upset or angry at me or mad or make videos or whatever. That doesn't matter. Once again, I'm afraid of nobody. I've offered anybody to come through. There's no need to make any videos and do it, you know, scared and in your room by yourself. This is your opportunity to confront the person that's so bad, civilly, once again. So if I'm making videos on somebody else and they offered me to come through, I would take that opportunity. Not as like an angry thing, but like, hey, let's do this. Let's talk like men. That's how I was raised. But once again, people are raised differently. Not everybody's raised the same. So, Mr. Davis, it doesn't matter if people make a video. It doesn't matter. Let them make it. Once again, I've been getting new subs. I get people that come here and say, hey, man, I watched the video. People said that you're crazy or this or you're lying. And I came here and you're just simply talking about facts. You're talking about facts. You're giving good opinions. You're a little bit emotional or elevated at times, but they see that it's for the stream. It's whatever. So it's for entertainment purposes for the most part. Unless I'm like somebody's being a douchebag and I call it out for being a douchebag. But yeah, that's really what it comes down to, man. But once again, my Discord's been open this whole time. Maybe we'll let some people clip, let them take it, and they can reach out to me. If you're a man, you know what I'm saying? If you're a grown, or if you're an adult and you're constantly talking about somebody and they offered, hey man, have a conversation. If I'm so bad, you can come prove it, or we can go do it on somewhere else. Like I did it on, we can do Flipping the Switches channel. We can do it on his, you know, so I don't mind taking it anywhere it needs to be taken. There was an old motto at my old alma mater that I still like, that I still kind of apply at times. It was anytime, anywhere, any place. Like anytime, anywhere, any place. Old head coach Pat Hill for the Fresno State Bulldogs. You know, we weren't scared of anything. Nobody's scared of people talking. Like, that's fine. It's okay. People are allowed to talk and have their opinion. But you want to talk about misinformation, you want to talk about stuff like, oh, I'm lying or things like that, hey, pull up. There's no need to make other videos and all that type of stuff like that. Pull up and let's discuss. We can do that. And let's, like I said, let's get the right information out there to the users. Like, you guys need the right information. You guys need good information. You guys want good opinions. You guys want good back and forth. Everybody wants a little bit of resistance here and there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't go to the gym and just lift 2-pound weights. There's no resistance there. You want a little bit of resistance when you watch something, when you watch a movie, when you watch a TV show. It'd be boring if it was just like freaking, what's that girl that does those little, my son be watching on YouTube, not Coco, kind of like Coco Melon, but it's the girl, Miss Rachel. Not everybody wants a Miss Rachel show. You know what I'm saying? Where she's just sitting there saying, hi everyone, wow, yeah. It's like Sesame Street. Y'all want a little bit of talk back and forth. So yeah. Let's see. So the misinformation, people spreading misinformation about you. How can they go? It sounds like they got nothing to argue with. Ask me. I'm here and I'm available for discussion. So there we go. My favorite video game ever, Chrono Trigger. So yeah. It's okay, Mr. Davis. No problem. If you have a problem, you guys can tell them. Anybody that says anything, you can tell them what I said here. It's a simple thing. Pull up, civil. Spell it right though, Mr. Davis. Pull up, civil debate or discussion. Daryl says they don't want no smoke. Pull up, simple debate or discussion. Let's lay out the topics. Let's lay out what I said, what I didn't say, and let's lay out your interests as well. Situations and problems that you have or what you like as well. So it could be a good discussion. I'll give you guys another thing too. There was one time I got into, like, there was a troll that hated my website, and he was so adamant about hating me and my website. Bro, we did a debate offline. I did a debate with him offline, and within 2 minutes, he was like, "Oh, you're a cool dude." And he never trolled me again. And it's all the same stuff that some people are doing right now. He never trolled me again. So that's what I mean. Like, it ain't that serious, you know? I don't remember his name and all that, but he was very, very trolly, like super on my website. So let's hear. Casual Noob says, Mr. Davis, an assassin. I'm low-key scared of him. Mr. Davis, an assassin. Yeah. Assassin. Out here, low-key scared. Caitlin with the 3.
There's number 120 FPS games at launch, right? I wouldn't be surprised if Welcome Tour had a mini game to demonstrate it.
I think Welcome Tour does have a mini game to demonstrate it, like where you can tell between like 120 or like 40 or like 30 or so, or like 60. I think it does have that for Welcome Tour. But in terms of at launch, I don't think that there's any 120 games at launch. There might be, but I don't think that there's any 120 games at launch. No, Mr. Davis, I'm joking around. Don't go harass any guys. Listen, don't go harass anybody or anything. If you want to tell them that I'm open for a discussion, that's fine, but no harassment or anything, you know, which that's fine. Fable series, I like Fable 1 and I like Fable 2. Ooh, excuse me. Ryan Cardo says, hey, OJ, really looking forward to Switch 2 in a couple weeks. Shoutouts. Fast racing, not 120. No, it's not. It's 60 frames per second. So Fast Fusion, you're talking about that game. No, Mr. Davis, no. No. Sold your Steam Deck for Switch 2. Sold your Steam Deck for a Switch 2 instead of keeping it. What the hell? I think you missed my conversation that we had at the beginning of the stream. So it's part 2. But yeah, if you want, you can rewind the stream. Steam Deck's a great device, man. There's a lot of good things that it does. I spent some time with it, and I felt that it wasn't for me, considering what Switch 2 could do. So I decided to sell it towards that system. But it's no hate towards the Steam Deck. It's actually a really good device. The first video that I made talking about it, some people kind of maybe misunderstood. Wasn't any type of hate towards anything. So, yeah. So yeah. Would you recommend Persona or Shin Megami Tensei for beginners of the series? They're different types of games, so it just depends, man. So you've seen DF still in the Hogwarts Legacy is 720p based off the footage of the unreleased game, and the publisher stated it'll be 1440p docked and 1080p handheld. No, I didn't see that. But yeah, I've kind of tuned out Digital Foundry when it comes to them talking about the frame rates and resolutions of stuff. I mean, we're so close to the launch, so let's just let the games come out and then we'll see from there, you know. My view says launch night, 13 days left. Yes, sir. Hey, what's up, Dark Synchron? Welcome. I didn't know you were here. I made a video about Nintendo YouTubers. That guy won't debate you, though. Man to man, he's scared. Yeah, like I said, I don't know who that is or anything like that. I'm not really sure, you know, what's going on. But no, there's nothing wrong. Most of these guys are small YouTubers. Just it's easy to talk about somebody else. It makes sense. And like I said, I do get a little bit animated, you know what I'm saying, on my stream. So it's easy to cherry pick or to do whatever or to get mad. Or like I said, if you don't like Nintendo or if you feel like they're being angry, it's easy to just pick somebody out. But once again, I'm here for discussion. Anybody, small YouTuber or big YouTuber, anybody wants to discuss or talk about what's misinformation. Like I said, I don't care about opinions. Like, if you don't like me because you don't, or because you think it's fanboy and all this, like that type of stuff is irrelevant. There's no need to debating an opinion that's irrelevant at the end of the day. So that's not. But I mean, I would love to discuss actual Nintendo and discussion on, like, you know, anything like $80 games or Mario Kart or anything like that would be great to discuss. Like, that would be fun. I'm more than happy to do that, you know. Let's see here. What's up, Pro Joe? Welcome. What's up, Monado Mario? Thank you for the $1 dono. Appreciate that. Let me get that. Let's see here. Why is a certain YouTuber obsessed with Ocarina of Time remake? I don't know. At the end of the day, some do realize that if they go on a debate, they can't make videos bashing you anymore. And yes, even think that you aren't worth debating. So as for negativity around Switch 2, let them Switch 1 has the same, if not more. Yeah, same rodeo, exactly. Yeah, and that's fine too. You know, when you play sports, you realize the psychology of somebody who's scared. And I've taken plenty of sports psychology, and let me tell you, creating content has a lot of kind of like sometimes a little bit of strands with sports. And I can tell you something right now. Alpha type personalities are usually the type of people, alpha type personalities are usually the type of people, right? I can say that about myself. I'm not an alpha, but alpha type personalities, people that are willing to call people out, get angry, clip, do all those. That's an alpha personality, because somebody that's reserved or a different type, they're not going to do that, you know? So in sports psychology, somebody who has a type of personality that's willing to, clip and, like I said, talk about things, alpha personality, that person is willing in sports for confrontation. However, when it comes to people that are willing to talk and bark, but then not willing to confront, in sports, we have a certain slang and term for those type of people. You know what I'm saying? And content creation has a lot of those type of people. They'll talk big, they'll call names, they'll act all big and bad, they'll sit there and act like they'll retort everything you say, contrarian, and then when the person says, well, let's talk about it, let's discuss, they want no part of it. They'll make an excuse on why they don't want to do it. You know? So, in a very simple sense, they're scared. In a very, very simple sense, they're scared. They're scared to actually discuss and talk because they're going to look bad. All bark, zero bite. And listen, guys, not everybody has the actual, fortitude to have a confrontation or a discussion that type of way. A lot of people are not confident in what they say, To do content creation, you've got to do live streaming. You've got to be, and debates, you've got to be confident in your words. You've got to be confident in what you say. And I'll get that done in just a bit, Gibby. You've got to be confident. I ooze confidence because I want that confidence to be to you. There was a time in my life where I wasn't very confident. I want that confidence that I have to spread to you guys in your work and when you play games. That's why I don't tell you guys play games on the easiest difficulty. Even if you want to, I don't sit there and I don't praise it. I just say, hey, look, if you can play on hard, blah, blah, blah. I want you guys to be confident in all aspects, whether you're playing games, whether you're, trying to get a date. No shots, party man. Whether you're trying to, get that new job, whether you're trying to do whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want you guys to have that same type of confidence that I have when I come on stream and I talk about things. That's the reason why I offered a debate. I offered a debate because I have confidence in what I'm saying. I'm not spreading misinformation. I'm not saying anything that's too crazy or too out of bounds or whatever. I can explain or talk about anything. So that's the reason why. People who don't want to but are still willing to talk about you, those are the people that have no true confidence in what they say. It's all for show. It's fake. So those type of people can't be helped. So it's not, like I said, it's no big deal. Let's see. Just want to say thanks for you about the right one right now who hasn't jumped on the crumbs or going on the rage bait kick. Yeah, there's really no point in going on the rage bait or anything like that. There's no point in doing that because, once again, I'm not upset. Gibby with the $2 dono and says, how about some Doom Dark Ages music? Sure, I got that for you. Doom Dark Ages music. Dark Ages music. Wolf in sheep's clothing. Yeah, exactly. Or a sheep. Sheep in wolf's clothing. There you go. Yeah, that's it. Sheep's and wolf. But like I said, sports psychology. You have those people all the time. I've had those people. I'll tell you guys a funny story. In high school, we used to have these old school message boards. We didn't have Twitter and all that, but we used to have these message boards, and then we used to go on there with our little pseudonyms for our names. I played running back and stuff like that. So there was a time when there was these guys, they were talking all sorts of smack to me. They knew who I was. They were talking all sorts of smack to me. And they were big and bad and barking. They're going to run me over. They're going to do this and that. I said, whatever, man. Whatever. I saw them at like an award show before a game. They were talking too. But from afar. They weren't saying nothing. But when we played, bro, I saw their eyes. They looked at me. And have you ever seen somebody's pupils get dilated? Or get like shrink? That's what happened to them when I was running at them full speed, head on. Their eyes shrunk and I could see the fear captured in their eyes before I absolutely truck them to oblivion. Just hit stick. Oh my god. Not another word for the rest of the Not another word for the rest of the season. Not another word. Metaphorically speaking, obviously I'm not going to hit anybody on YouTube content creation. But that same fear of someone that you know knows what they're doing and what they're talking about compared to you just being angry or hating Nintendo, that fear is instilled. So what do? Make excuses why you don't want to show up. Make excuses why it's, oh, there's no point. It's a waste of my time, even though I brought up all these things. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what I see. It's the same type of fear that I see in the eyes of a lot of those people that I played against that would talk and talk and talk and talk. And then when offered, okay, let's go head up, they would just run away or they'd get scared. So that's how I see it as. Same psychology. Let me get some shout outs to Murado. Thank you for the dollar dono. Let's see here. Excuse, I can't afford. Oh, I remember that. I can't afford a mic. You're crazy, family. Stop begging for debate, etc. And all. Never understood why weirdos keep go ad hominem, even though debate they have no ad hominem. Is never good rebuttal. Yeah. So yeah. Let's see here. They'll never see it again. Yeah, sorry, seemingly random question, but do you enjoy rice? I know it's random, but sometimes it's curious. Yes, I do enjoy, like, the food rice. Yes, the little rice, brown rice, white rice. I enjoy both of them. My wife makes really good rice. We have a rice cooker as well. So, yeah, I do enjoy rice. Not too much, though. Not too much rice. Let's see here. All right, so that's that. OJ, you got to do a stream where you use the Switch 2 camera and say, oh, the camera's on. Yeah, maybe one of these days, the Switch 2 camera, say, oh, the camera's on. What? That would be funny. Let's see here. Like everything in life, too much of something may make you hate it. Yeah? Yeah? Hey, what's up, Idriso? Welcome to the stream. What does rice taste like? I'm wondering. Rice doesn't really taste like anything. It tastes like however you cook it, right? Like, it tastes like if you put certain seasoning or something, it'll taste kind of like that. But rice doesn't have necessarily a flavor. It just has like a texture to it, you know? Unless you put certain spices and things like that, then it tastes like that. But it doesn't really have any type of flavor like by itself. It just tastes kind of like stuff, you know? Rice just tastes like, it has a texture, it doesn't have a taste. So yeah. Super Christian Miro with the $3 dono.
Sup, OJ.
Sup, man?
People are enjoying the fact that Cow is playable in MK World.
That's true.
But then we got those weirdos out there complaining that Nintendo had to wait 17 years to make Cow playable, copying what Modders did on Wii. I sent you my response to them on X.
Okay, yeah, I'll check that out for sure. Yeah, I didn't know that people were, was that a thing? Was that like a real thing online? Okay, shoutouts. Appreciate that combo breaks. Yeah, too many carbs can make you sleepy. Still waiting for the Johnny Bravo banana guy to come on and debate you. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. So it's okay. Let's see here. Hawaiian chicken and rice is some great stuff, especially with pineapple. Ooh, that sounds good. But it's not that it's not gonna happen because I don't want it to. It's not gonna happen because, once again, what they're upset about makes no sense. Like, you shouldn't be upset about a grown man buying and selling a video game system to talk about another video game system. Like, that's not something to be upset about. Like, I don't care how much time somebody spent or not spent with anything that they buy. If you, like, for example, I'll give you guys a perfect example. If the PS6 comes out, right, and somebody wants to sell their Switch 2 towards a PS6, and even if they don't really know too much about the Switch 2, or they just bought it, or if it's not, that's fine. It's their money, it's their time. And if they're a content creator, it's their content. If they want to make content on what they buy or sell or trade or not, there's whole people that have made, you know, millions of dollars buying and selling, trading, and you know, the pawn stars, people like that, right? They go pawn things and sell things, buy and sell things and whatever, you know, like that's fine. Like that's not anything anybody should get mad at, once again. So it's just a ridiculous thing in the first place to get really angry about. And I think that's the main reason why that there's going to be no debate on that, because it's silly. It's really silly. Like, you're angry that somebody made a video about selling something, and which, once again, it's one of the reasons why I think it's really because they hate Nintendo. It's not because, you know, anything that I said was wrong. It's because they just simply can't stand the fact that somebody's excited or does something positive towards Nintendo. So call names, call them bootlicker, call them names, call them not because they actually made a good point, like, hey, look, I bought this for insurance just in case Switch 2 didn't have X, Y, and Z. I see that it's cool, so no problem.
I can't wait for Kirby Air Riders. There's so much more Kirby material to pull from too.
Yeah.
Can I get City Trial?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the $3, Justin. I appreciate that. So yeah, it really comes down, like I said, it's just really because some people just hate the fact that it's Nintendo. Because, like I said, I guarantee you that if I said that I sold my Switch for a Steam Deck, these people would not get upset. A lot of these people would not get upset at all. It wouldn't be a problem. It'd be like, oh, okay, cool. You sold your Switch for a Steam Deck, you know? So yeah, it'd be completely fine, which I have no problem with people doing that either. Like, that's not something to get angry about. Like, no matter what the person says, it's their whatever. Unless they're straight up lying and completely false information, like, oh man, Steam Deck, I sold it for a Switch 2 because the Steam Deck has like a 480p screen. Well, that's not true. Steam Deck doesn't have a 480p screen. Steam Deck has an 800p screen. Or if I said, oh man, Steam Deck, I sold it because Steam Deck doesn't have triggers or shoulder buttons, or, you know, or doesn't, or whatever, right? That's like lying. Then yeah, if you want to be upset about that, then that's fine. But I don't think you should ever be upset about somebody who just says that they want to take it for something else. So, you know, that's fine. And you're a content creator, so make content, you know? I don't think it's even Nintendo with that guy. I think it's just released that Linux and getting a bad name rep, whatever. Sure, whatever. Yeah. After that, I watched the debate with Van and Darkstar. Guarantee it's gonna just go around in circles, argument, no middle ground. Well, we would be discussing facts and not just opinions. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it would go in circles or anything. So, but I can guarantee you, I'm not gonna be the one who's going into the circles. I can tell you that. I'm gonna be going over objective facts. So I can tell you that. That's basically what would happen. I'd be telling facts. All right, Kirby City Trial. Kirby City Trial. Yeah, people definitely are upset about the wrong thing a lot. Do you plan on making a game that would benefit from... do you plan on making what game would benefit from more from a Switch 2 edition versus Definitive Edition? I thought about that, but not sure if I will make a video on that, but I could, Dank. That seems like a good idea. The more I hear Steam Deck, the more I start hating the device. Hey, look, man. I think that there's definitely some things with fans that you can hate about a lot of different stuff, you know? So, yeah. I don't think, so, yeah. Kirby Air Riders 2 is currently what Sakurai said to Furukawa when Furukawa asked, oh, Sakurai, what game do you want to make next? Because you are great and you will help my console. Okay. Sakurai is also making Super Smash Brothers as well. I'm gonna buy Halo and Gears on PS5 when it comes out after announced on June 8th. All I need is PS5, Switch 1, and Switch 2. That's cool, Green Ninja. I'm glad that you're looking forward to stuff to pick up. Was there leaks of Stellar Blade coming to Switch 2? It wasn't leaks. The company Shift Up talked about how they want to have a platform expansion in the next year or so for Stellar Blade. So platform expansion, that means more platforms. So that means maybe Xbox or Nintendo Switch 2. Should do a video comparing the Switch 2 camera to your PC camera. Switch 2 camera to my PC camera. Okay. Yo, shout outs to the GOAT. 816 says for my homie, I'm back. Hey, shout outs GOAT. Thank you for the big $10 dono. Welcome back, brother. Welcome back to the stream. Thank you so much for coming out, man. I appreciate you. Let's go. Combo breaks in the house. We out here. Let's go. Let's go. About to be 280p. Let's go. And also Steam Deck fanboys will acknowledge this, but in my opinion, the biggest competitor of Steam Deck is gaming laptops. There are laptops that are much better than SD. Yeah. To be honest though, man, there's not really any real there's no real competition. So there's not really any competition with Nintendo Like Steam Deck and portable PCs, there's no real competition. Like competition would mean that there's actually like some type of like actual like sales battle, like the fans cross over a lot. There's not really that, to be honest, considering just how Switch 1 and Steam Deck played out. Honestly, I don't know what the hell those dudes are talking about when they say that Steam Deck is stronger than Switch 2. Yeah, I think that there's definitely some misinformation out there, you know, when it comes to stuff. Unpopular, but I'd rather have Switch enhanced for Smash Bros. Than a new entry. Sakurai himself mentioned the next roster would be smaller. I don't mind having a smaller roster if that means completely redone movesets, like actual single-player content, like substantial single-player content, actual real movesets, you know, revamped online, more modes, like cut back on the characters and worrying about balancing all that, and just worry about having like a good solid roster than having, you know, actual content. That to me would be better than just the same game that we've already been playing for, you know, since 2018. Justin with the 3.
Do you regret the Steam Deck video?
No.
Lol.
No, not. I don't regret the Steam Deck video one bit because I'm not fake. You know, that's what I was feeling at the time. That's what I did. So I don't ever regret. The only thing that I regret is when I'm like wrong on something. If I'm like dead wrong on something, then I'll definitely have some regrets over it. Shout out to the combo breaks, like, and I'll usually apologize if I'm wrong about something, like the, you know, Nvidia versus AMD. I was wrong. I was dead wrong about that. So I do regret the stuff that was said and all of that, which I've said multiple times, and I've left the videos up. So I do regret that, but I don't regret my personal opinion and talking about what I got a system for or whatever the case is. Like, it doesn't matter if I like Nintendo a lot or whatever. Like, I'm still a human being. Like, I'm still allowed to give my opinion. Everything isn't coded in some type of bias or some type of, you know, conspiracy. Like, I don't spend $500-something to shift conspiracy theories about hardware. Like, I don't, that's never been my thing. Like, when I bought a PC, like, to try PC gaming, I didn't spend, at the time, it was like I didn't spend $1,000 to say that I hate something. You know, when I bought another gaming PC, or then I bought this gaming PC that I have over the last 10 years, I've bought 3 gaming PCs. One of them crapped out on me, though. But whatever, that's neither here or there. But, like, I don't buy this stuff just to, you know, just to be angry or to whatever, you know. Oh, and that was a $15 dono, not a $10 dono. That was a $15 dono. Thank you so much, the GOAT. Appreciate the $15, man. Sorry about that. I thought it was 10. That was actually 15. Let's add 5 more to the board here. So yeah, so I think it's a little frustrating even talking about anything else outside of Nintendo at times, because if you dislike something, then you immediately, it gets pointed to, it's because it's not Nintendo, or it's because you're this. Like, so I can say, oh man, I love Metaphor ReFantazio, it's not on Nintendo platforms, and people will have no problem agreeing with me. Or I can say, oh, I hate this game, that's on a Nintendo platform, or I don't like it, and they have no problem agreeing with it because it's on a Nintendo platform. But the minute I say I don't like something, or if it's something that's not based off Nintendo, all of a sudden, here's your excuses, or here, oh, it's because Nintendo, it's because this, I mean, or it's because it's not on Nintendo, it's because it's not a Nintendo system, right? Like, for example, I'll give you guys a perfect example of this is RGT just had a tweet the other day saying, like, hey, look, everybody moved on from Oblivion, right? Like, is it me or did everybody move? I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. And this is the stuff that Nintendo content creators, we go through, like, or even anybody that just likes Nintendo, not even just Nintendo content creators, just anybody who just likes them. So I'll show you guys the tweet that I'm talking about. So let me see if I can find it. So yeah, okay, so here's the tweet that I'm talking about. So RGT said, so now that the dust is settled, we can all agree that Oblivion remaster/remake wasn't really that great, right? Because I don't see anyone talking about it anymore. So he put up a little joke, Buck Nasty, nastiest hater 2000. That's actually pretty funny. Shout outs to Charlie Murphy. So yeah, here. Here we go. This is the tweet right here. This is it. So look at how many people look at this tweet, man. Um, look at this tweet from this guy. Like, nah, it was. You just don't like it because it's not a Nintendo game. I actually play my Xbox more than anything else. He's not even allowed to like or dislike something. I know RGT barely plays his Nintendo Switch. He plays Xbox. He likes other games. He started out as a Sega guy. But you can't even... That's why I don't really be putting out my opinions negative on anything else. That's why I don't. Because if you do, you're going to have people like this guy that can't even let you have an opinion. It has nothing to do with Nintendo. Why would RGT buy an Xbox for $500 and then just say I hate it because it's not on the system for $200 that I bought for $300? There's no Nintendo or content creator that covers Nintendo that thinks like this. None of us. Not a single anybody with any type of credibility that covers Nintendo, whether it's Scott the Waz or whether it's Josie or whether it's Celia or whether it's me or whether it's whoever, Switch Force or Nintendo Prime. Nobody thinks like this. Nobody thinks when they get a game on Xbox or PlayStation that I don't like it because it's not on Nintendo. Why would we spend the money? Why would we buy the why would we spend money on Game Pass or spend money on the game only to sit there and say I don't like it because it's not on this? That makes no sense. That makes zero sense. And this is like I said, this is the big problem with these people. This is the huge problem. Like, what does this even mean? Yeah, it's cool that you're a casual gamer and pick up a controller once or twice a week. That's why I watch your YouTube videos. You're like the average gamer's man's man. I don't know if this guy is trolling or not, but this type of behavior we see all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Overclock Buster!
We need to overclock anyway. We got extensions here, boys and girls. We need to overclock anyway. Let's go. Also, big love to Jakin with the 80 months. And also shout outs to Samurai. Thank you for the subscription. That's the last re-up before the new Mario Kart. I may cry. It's been a long road, but we finally made it. Yes, sir. 80 months. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Let's see here.
You would think Nintendo kicked their puppy and stole their girl.
I'm telling you,
Wow.
man. I'm telling you, some of these guys, and like I said, that guy might have been trolling, but there's definitely people who think that way. Like, I've seen Sean get that many times. I've seen Sean get that when he says he doesn't like something, it's only because it's not Nintendo. If I say that, it's only because you don't like Nintendo. You know what I'm saying? Or it's because it's not on Nintendo or something like that, right? Like, you can't even have an opinion on whatever game, X, Y, or Z game. And it's not even like we make a bunch of content bashing, you know, Microsoft or Sony or whatever. So, like, I think that's one of the biggest issues that we see with a lot of gamers in today's day, or just like online. That's why I don't really give my opinion on a lot of Xbox and PlayStation games. I don't give my opinion because if I do, then people sit there and do whatever. So there's no point. I'll give my opinion on Clear Obscure Expedition 33 because I like it. But if I said that I don't like it, oh my goodness. But there's certain games that I get that I actually buy and I play on my Xbox or my PlayStation, and I don't like it, but I'm just like, man, I'm good. I ain't even gonna say nothing. Slim Boy Fred, because there's no point. What's the point of saying anything? I know, grown men fighting over plastic. So it is what it is. I wonder how many of us are going to start playing Mario Kart as the cow. What I find ironic is that the cow eating a hamburger on the game. Maybe it's a veggie burger. Maybe it's a veggie burger. Yeah. Maybe it's a veggie burger. Makes me happy. I'm small time. I cannot fathom these comments bigger people get regularly. Well, you might get big time in the future, so don't say that right now. So especially when the next Xenoblade game comes out, you could get a lot bigger, a lot faster. Let me tell you that right now, because I think I was about, well, no, I wasn't before the Switch, but I was at, like, before the Switch 1 came out, I was at 10,000 subs. And then by the end of the mid-generation, I think 2022, I got to, like, 100,000. So I increased tenfold in that amount of years, right? So you never know what's going to happen. But I think when the next Xeno game comes out, you might triple or quadruple or even more. So, and to be honest, man, like, once again, sports psychology, I can take it. Like, I can take people saying things. The only thing I don't like is, like, misinformation or, like, misrepresentation or lying. That's what I don't like. I don't care if, like, you're mad because whatever. That doesn't matter. But like just saying stuff that's not true, that's what I don't like. Let's see here. What's a mushroom burger? Oh wait, Toad. Oh no, we ain't eating no mushroom burger. The Xbox community hates your guts. That is true. Well, I mean, I don't know about that. Most of the Xbox community doesn't care or doesn't even know who I am. But there are definitely some people that, yeah, absolutely hate my guts, which is okay. Listen, I will say that maybe I shouldn't, like that whole situation that went back with Chrono Cross, maybe I shouldn't have said like the sales and all that. You know, probably shouldn't have done that. But it was factual though, but sometimes you just leave things alone, right? So I've just left it alone when I see people say certain stuff. I'll just leave it alone. Let's see here. Do you think that there will be Astrobot 2 or did Sony miss the boat? I think that there's going to be Astrobot 2, yeah. You being 100+ K is is worth way more because you aren't a fake tuber. Drama channels can get mad traction, but lame reasons. Yeah, I think, like I said, I think not to toot my own horn because you guys make this channel what makes this channel go. Yeah, like I said, it's a community effort. A lot of you guys have, like I said, shared, liked the videos. A lot of you guys are the reasons why I've actually been able to get the subscribers that I've been able to get. So I appreciate it, and I want to say thank you. But yeah, like we're not fake around here, man. We out here, we saying what we gotta say. That's why I said I challenge anybody to a talk or debate.
Off to bed, ninjas. Keep doing what you love and never let no BS put you down.
Exactly.
2 more weeks till Switch 2 and my week off work to game with you guys.
Yo, let's go.
Fun challenge for OJ before I leave.
Okay.
Sell 1 console in your collection. Which is it?
Sell 1 console in my collection? I'd sell my GameCube because I have 2 of them. I've got 2 GameCubes, so I'd sell 1 of them. So yeah, there you go. Shout out Sinver. Thank you for the $3 dono. I appreciate that. Let's go. Let's go. I'd have to look it up, but whatever system is worth the least amount in terms of like the least rare system, that I'd sell that one. So maybe like my Xbox One S, Xbox One, that system. So probably that Xbox One S. Yeah, keeping the N64. Keeping the N64. I only got 1 N64, so I'm keeping that one. I got 2 GameCubes, so I gotta get rid. I can get rid of 1 GameCube. I can get rid of 1 of them. You know, I can get rid of my platinum GameCube. My purple GameCube is the one that actually has like the digital output thingy. I'll keep that one. Drama channels kind of get old. They have some lastability, but one can only take them for so long until you no longer care about them and their style becomes a turnoff. I think that there's definitely a place for drama channels, and there's definitely a place for people to, you know, if you want that type of content, just dunking on someone 24/7 or whatever, that's fine, you know, like I've had that happen to me not a million times, but I've had that happen to me, and that's fine. Once again, if they come to the stream and they actually see what the stream is about and they see the content, like I said, not to toot my own horn, but the content's good. It's informative, good edited videos with plenty of cool music and everything kind of backed up with that. It's sourced, you know, you see the article topics, like the editing's solid. And then when you come to the streams, if you're not here to be a D-bag to me, if you're here to just talk, you can have disagreements, that's fine. But if you're here not to be like a troll, like it's good interaction. Like, you know, we got hundreds of people here, you know, you get your questions answered if you have whatever the case is. But once again, there are people that come here that just, they don't respect, you know, they have no form of respect or anything like that. They don't look at me that same type of way, which is fine. You don't have to, if you don't want to. But the people that are actually here to respect, you know, and for the people that are here to actually like have discussion and have fun, you know, you can joke around, have fun and all that. Like, yo, this stream's great. You know what I'm saying? It's like I always want to be here. So that's the reason why. Because like streaming's difficult. Like I don't have thousands of people per stream. I have thousands of people that watch like afterwards, but I don't have thousands per the live stream. But everyone says, yo, it's actually really good. Like when you're not off track or when you're not like whatever saying something, like I actually really like it. So I think that's cool, man. It's dope. It's not easy to get 50 people or 100 people or 200 people to watch because everybody's live streaming these days. You can go get instant content. There's so much content to watch. It's impossible to watch everything, right? So to get 100 people or 200 people or 300 people even watching your stream in the first place is difficult and takes a long time for some. It's easier for some, but harder for others, you know? So it's tough, man. So I just want to say thank you for you guys' support, and, you know, I think we have a lot of fun whenever we do stream. So yeah. So yeah. Let's see. Also, with the Nintendo camera thing, what's up with the fear-mongering Nintendo being Big Brother and spying on you? Privacy seems to be something people don't understand. Yeah, like I personally don't think Nintendo's gonna be spying on you, like with the camera, like looking at what you're doing and stuff like that. It's a closed box device, so there has to be some form of moderation or reporting that can happen when you have a camera and when you have voice. Like I said, you don't want the situation like with the swap note problem. That was the swap note controversy. So for those who don't know, just want to put that out there then. Swap note controversy. So for those who don't know, because it was a while ago, so I do want to go over that with like the whole, like I said, but I understand for those who are upset about the situation like with the cell phone thing. Like I get that, I'm not saying that you can't be upset or angry or mad or whatever. Once again, I'm not upset because I already use my phone for two-step verification and authentication and all that, so it's no problem. I already use it for all my systems. Yeah, essentially it's because of the swap note controversy. There was a child predator back in 2013 that used swap note for the 3DS to share offensive material exchange between the users, including minors. So there was actually child predators and people using that. And that's, once again, you don't need any verification for that or anything like that. So they've got to be able to somehow, if there's a big problem that's reported or if there's an issue, there's got to be something, for privacy and for the safety, more like it, safety of everyone, not even just minors, but like other people as well. Like, if there's something that happens there, there could be crazy stuff that somebody sees or crazy stuff that somebody happens. It doesn't matter how old you are, right? Illegal things or whatever the case is. So you need to make sure that you secure that and that there's nothing that can happen there. So in my personal opinion, I don't really think it's too much of an issue overall, because once again, like I said, I already use it for two-step verification. But yeah, there was an issue with that, so I'm guessing that plays a part into it. But once again, if you're upset or if you're angry or if you feel like they're spying or whatever and you feel like Nintendo's just terrible for that, you're okay for thinking that. That's fine too. I don't think so, but if you think that, that's also cool. That's fine. So let's see here. I think it happened with PictoChat on the DS. It happened with SwapNote for sure on the 3DS. I don't know about PictoChat is not on, I think PictoChat is just local. So I don't think there was anything that you can do with PictoChat because that was just a local thing, like right next to someone from what I remember. But I know SwapNote was online, so yeah. Let's see. Are people seriously whining about bricking the Switch 2 because they can't pirate? Why can't they just not pirate? I don't think people are whining about that. They feel that it's unfair somehow that Nintendo could just. They think that they can just remotely brick your system for modding your system, or emulation, which necessarily isn't illegal. So I think some people were just going crazy about that. But it's in everybody's TOS though. So like that's to protect their servers from being hacked or from you cheating or other things like that. So if you go online with the modded system and they remotely disable it or something because you're hacking their system or you're cheating in a game, then like I said, Sony's done that. It's in the TOS of all these different companies, so it's actually not anything new. So I think the problem was that, once again, it's just Nintendo's the new system. People are looking for anything to be upset about or be angry about without even realizing that, oh, it's in Sony's TOS as well. So yeah. Yeah, Sony has the same thing in their TOS, and they've actually bricked systems because of that. Jake Randall got his system bricked, at least according to Jake. Once again, according to Jake, he got his system bricked because somebody did hacking or something on the system or whatever, like his PS5. So, yeah. Let's watch these new Game Boy games together. All their new Game Boy games. Well, I want to watch the Shadow Labyrinth trailer first, so let's watch that. Shadow Labyrinth. I think there's a new Shadow Labyrinth trailer 12 hours ago. So, okay, this is really weird. Like, I'm seeing like actual Pac-Man gameplay on this. So what's going on here? Did we get okey doked? The labyrinth has It's literally Pac-Man now. Experience Pac-Man like never before. This is crazy. It's literally Pac. We got Okie doked. Master the base to strengthen yourself. July 18th. It's literally Pac-Man now. Like, that's awesome. Yeah, it's like actual Pac-Man now, which is crazy. So, all right. So let's see here. All right, so yeah, we got Game Boy games too. The Demon Slayer trailer. I don't really care about Game Boy games too much, guys. I'll be honest. Survival Kids, 1999. Oh, my knapsack is big here. Dig, dig. Everything inside is intact. Good. Got a knife. Got the radio. What is this about? Who's played this game? Survival Kids? Made a kid with. Okay. Wow, warm. Old school survival game. You gotta eat meat. Gotta burn and cook meat. Okay. Gradius, the interstellar assault. Man, I've got to be pretty bored to sit here and play something like this, bro. I mean, it's just that green color just would hurt my eyes. I played old school Game Boy and it was cool for its time, but yeah, I don't know if I got any time to play this. All right, Kirby Star Stacker, 97. Okay, yeah, it's like the Wario's Woods and the Tetris and the Puyo Puyo and Pokemon Puzzle League and all that type of stuff. So I'm glad that they're still adding Game Boy games, though. People thought that they might forget about Game Boy with GameCube and everything coming. They might forget about the old stuff. Sword of Hope. An old school first-person dungeon crawler RPG? Wow. Click. You got it. Is unlocked. Enemy appears. Theo attacks. Skeleton is defeated. You get 3 go. Yeah, this is old. The Sword of Hope. But I've never heard the Sword of Hope. Man, I never heard about those games before. Like a lot of these games, I never heard about them. So you got yeah, Game Boy. Only one. The Survival Kids is a Game Boy Color game. That Sword of Hope cover looks pretty cool though. But yeah, man, I never heard of these games except for Kirby Star Stacker. I think I heard about it, but yeah, a lot of these titles, man, I didn't hear about them, so I'm good. But looks like they're available today or whenever. So if you want to go play them, have fun, have at it. Oh yeah, they're going deep into the library, man. That's for sure. They're going deep into the library. Survival Kids is because they knew one coming to Switch 2. Wait, it's a follow-up to that game for real, or are you just joking? Because Survival Kids Switch 2. So that's actually like a real. Is that like a real thing where it's like the same franchise? Wow, are you guys serious, or are you guys just messing with me? Really? Okay, because I know about the Survival Kids game. Like I mean, we've heard about that. It was in here's the trailer for that. That's the Survival Kids. Or maybe it. Okay, here we go. It is gonna play it.
4 kids find this old tattered man. Off they went, armed with nothing but youthful enthusiasm and a profound lack of preparation. Boom! Terrible at steering a raft. Let's slay some trees. Awesome! You nailed it! Hook, line, and sinker. Tastes amazing, doesn't it?
This might be the same thing.
Started to master this survival thing. Next stop, the top. Ha! Nicely done. Well, I think that's everything. Let's set sail. This time for home.
Unity. It is. It's Konami. Yeah. You know what? Yeah. It's a remake, or it's a retail, or it's like a new one or something. But yeah, I just looked in the bottom corner. It's Konami, and that original game is also Konami. Yeah, they just basically they remade or they a retelling of the original Survival Kids. That's crazy. I didn't know that. Wow. Spiritual successor to, okay, it's a spiritual successor. There we go. It didn't seem like it was like a sequel. Spiritual successor to the original game. Wow, that's interesting. So okay, so that's the reason why maybe Konami is like, all right, go ahead and put it on there. Little bit of shadow marketing for that. Okay, interesting. Very cool. Very cool. This one, the Survival Kids, the new game looks very smooth. And the thing that this game is made by Unity. Unity runs not great on Switch 1. So the fact that Unity is actually, well, it's not that it doesn't run great, but there's like no Unity games that are actually like 60 frames and like smooth. So that one looks like it's 60 frames and smooth. Looks like it could be kind of fun.
I just want some GBA games. I wish they could add Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland and Sonic Advance.
Yeah.
But that's probably going to be a collection.
Yeah. I agree. Some more GBA games would be great. Absolutely. I agree. Combo breaks.
Combo breaker!
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take it easy, Charles. Thanks for coming out to the stream, man. I appreciate it. Shoutouts. Let's see your video. Yeah, I always love learning about new stuff, man. It's cool. Yeah, so Alma, I think that's correct. Yeah, it's correct. It's a spiritual successor to the original game. That's awesome. We learned something new today. I mean, we learned that Pac-Man is actually coming back in a new Pac-Man game as well. So yeah. So we know that Pac-Man's coming back in a new game as well. So that's pretty good. Pretty good stuff. So I do want to talk about this post that I had on Twitter as well. So I find this post to be interesting. I got a lot of people actually liking it. It'll probably end up with like 500 plus likes or 1,000 likes or whatever. But I also wanted to talk about this real quick. I think the music might be a little bit too loud though. Let me just turn this down a little bit. Okay. Let me know if the music's too loud or not, guys. Let me know. All right, I think this is good for the music. So I want to talk about this post right here that I made on Twitter. And I thought it was, like I said, an interesting post because a lot of people have actually had a pretty positive response to this post that I had. And, you know, I think for me, just going forward, like sometimes, like I said, I kind of get a little bit animated with things. And I think that going forward, you know, we got to be careful, or I'm going to be a bit more careful with that. But you guys know where my heart is. My heart's in a good spot. But if you look through this right here, I think that this post is interesting, like the response that I've gotten. So I said this on Twitter, and I want to get you guys' thoughts on it. Plus, I want to get what you guys are getting for launch as well. It says, although it's not many people, I would like to see peeps stop saying Nintendo Switch 2 is on par with PS5 or Xbox Series power-wise. It's not. It doesn't need to be either, right? However, it doesn't have to be, considering it's a hybrid home console portable. The PS5 and Xbox Series are not on par with Switch 2 in portable or hybrid play, and that's fine too. Like, let's just be real here. If you're trying to play via your phone, trying to play via, you know, PS Portal, it sucks. The experience is not good. It's not a great experience, and I've tried. I got a PS Portal. Actually, no, I don't have mine right here. Actually, it's below there, but I thought I had it real quick. But my PS Portal, I have it, and I've tried to use it, but it's just not a great experience overall, you know? It's just not a great experience. So, they don't have that. You know, and obviously Switch isn't going to have the experience of being able to play games with the fidelity and graphics that a PS5 can play. It's not going to be that, right? But I do think, once again, people just need to chill, right? Like, people need to chill. I've seen some trying to, you know, go to task on Digital Foundry for what they said about the, you know, the Switch 2. Obviously, I made a video talking about that because I do find it a little bit interesting. Like, it's definitely better than PS4 from what we've seen. Once again, newer architecture, things like that, like how some of the games are going to look. Like, it's definitely better than that. More RAM, whatever. You know, like, it's better than that. And we know that. And we know from the Switch 1 that Switch 1 was better than PS3 and 360, but it wasn't quite as good as PS4, Xbox One, power-wise. So it's just kind of a repeat of that. Switch 2 is better than PS4 and Xbox One, but it's not quite raw power up to the level of PS5 and Xbox Series. But I think that it does a better job of representing what you could see because of DLSS, or, you know, it does a better job of future-proofing and making things a bit better at launch compared to Switch 1. Switch 1 was rough for even Nintendo's own first-party games. Switch 1 was rough. Breath of the Wild obviously was not optimal. There's an area in Breath of the Wild, no matter what, on Switch 1 where it just runs terrible in the forest because there's too much shadows and lights and foliage and stuff. So that right there can tell you, like, yeah, don't get me wrong, it's still a very impressive game, but there's a situation there. But the fact that Switch 2, from the very beginning, we've got an open world Mario Kart game, no frame rate issues. We've got a big Donkey Kong game, no frame rate issue. Well, they said that there might be some frame rate stuff, but it's not done. Once the game's finished, it's going to be great. We can run, we already saw Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. That's going to be running at 60 frames per second as well. So the issues that we had when it came to the Switch 1 are gone with Switch 2. A lot of them are gone. So people just need to chill, enjoy your game. Switch 2 is launching soon. There's going to be a lot of cool game announcements for the rest of 2025. Relax, enjoy your games. I know I will be. So my launch haul is going to be this. Switch, or what I'm going to be getting right at launch or around launch. Switch 2 bundled with Mario Kart World. Switch 2 camera, official Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller, Bravely Default HD, Street Fighter 6, Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom upgrades, Cyberpunk 2077, Fast Fusion, Split Fiction, and testing out the Switch 1 games for the free patches. Switch 1 games free patches. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And obviously, Metroid Prime 4B, I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to Donkey Kong Bonanza as well. So yeah, I think it's a good post. And I wanted to get you guys' thoughts. What are your hauls going to be for Switch 2? Ori and the Blind Forest will the Wisp, the two main Unity games that broke the mold and ran at a full 60 frames per second on Switch. Yes, that is true. They did a great job with the Ori ones. There were some games that just on like for example, Fire Emblem Engage, and also I Am Setsuna. I think those run on Unity. And like Lost Sphere, those were 30 frames. Like Lost Sphere and I Am Setsuna should not be 30 frames. Those were 30 frames on Switch 1 because Unity was not the best for it. So yeah. Dojo, what's up, man? It's up 2 weeks till Switch 2. Hopefully getting Street Fighter 6 and Yakuza for Switch 2. Most likely we'll pre-order Bravely Default 1 remastered. Nice, let's go. So yeah, frame drop force, which they fixed in Switch 2 version. Well, yes, that's good. And they doubled the frame rate too. Not only did they fix it, but they doubled the frame rate and the resolution. So yeah, 1440p is definitely good. Better than what we got on Switch 1 at least. The graphics aren't apparently the best, but I'll say anyone who enjoys cozy games, Fantasy Life, I actually runs pretty good on Switch. I spoke with Miss Bubbles. She said that it doesn't run good on Switch, so I'm gonna wait for Switch 2. But I heard Fantasy Life is actually really good, so I'm gonna check out Fantasy Life for sure. But I'm just gonna wait for the Switch 2 version, which is coming out in a couple weeks. It's gonna be a free upgrade, or not a free upgrade. It's gonna be. Is it gonna be a free upgrade, or it's gonna be an upgrade? I don't know if it's gonna be free or not. So, all right. Let's see. I paid off my Switch 2 in my Mario Kart World as of last week. Street Fighter 6 is next on my list. Nice. Not to mention we're getting the point of diminishing returns on graphics, and then it can only take the time catching up. Yeah, I think they made a pretty big leap with the Switch 2 for what you can offer for the price, at least. You know, it's funny these PC fanboys are always using performance. Like a gotcha on Switch 1 is gonna fail because bad games run on Switch, and they're repeating it with Switch 2. I think with Switch 2, I don't know if they're using how things are gonna run. Most aren't doing that because most of the games that Nintendo's shown actually run pretty good. There's a lot of games that run pretty solid, and we're seeing some big third-party games. But I think that what they're using is that they're using the other things. Like I said, they're using, some are using frame rate and all that, but most people aren't. Most normal people aren't. They're using, like any type of controversy that you can think of. $80 games. They're using, You know, while Cyberpunk currently is $80 on PC, but they're using that. They're using Mario Kart World. They're using, you know, they're using the TOS, right? They're using any possible thing to sit there and go up in arms about, you know. So that's what they're doing, and it's like I said, it's funny because I think honestly the fact that Switch 2, the pre-orders and all that did so well, I think that broke a lot of these people. So we'll see if it continues, man. We'll see if it continues. Is it reasonable to say if Cyberpunk is on the 30-40 frames per second, shouldn't we expect 60 frames per second from almost every game because Cyberpunk is huge? Shouldn't we expect 60 frames per second from almost every game because Cyberpunk is huge? Okay, I see what you're saying. That's a good question. No. We shouldn't expect that from almost every single game because Cyberpunk is huge. I mean, developers have resources and time. Cyberpunk is a very big, massive game that was developed by a lot of people, and it runs on a certain engine. So different engines produce different results, different effects, different whatever. So you can't just always assume just because this game's massive and runs at, you know, runs at 30 to 40 frames per second. That means any other game is gonna run at 62. Now, that's the goal, I think, on Switch 2, but you can expect it. Now, here's what I will say, though, which is good for the Switch 2, at least, is that all the stuff that you would expect to run at 60 frames runs at 60 frames. That's the good news. That's the good news. The problem with the Switch 1 was that stuff that you expect to run at 60 didn't. I Am Setsuna, why is that at 30? It's like this little chibi style RPG. Lost Sphere, why isn't that at 60? Wait, that's not at 60? So I think that's the big issue. That was the issue with Switch 1. Stuff that you would expect to be 60 is not. Now, there was a game that came out. It was called like SNK Heroines, and I was looking forward to playing the game. I'm like, okay, fighting game, SNK Heroines, I feel like playing that. And then they're like, oh, it runs at 30 frames per second on Switch 1. And I'm like, and I'm not a frame rate stickler, but I'm like, wait, what? 30 frames per second for a 2D fighting game? That's insane. There's no way. And I looked it up, and it's like, yeah, the PS4 version is at 60, and the Switch 2 version, it's a 2D fighting game. Or no, it's a 3D game, but it's on a 2D plane. I'm like, how's that not at 60? There's no way that should not be at 60. I mean, we got Pokken Tournament. Pokken Tournament has good graphics. It has just as good as graphics, if not better graphics, than SNK Heroines. Pokken Tournament is a full, you have 3D mode and you have 2D, and like I said, it has good graphics. Pokken Tournament, that runs at 60 on the Wii U, runs at 60. There is no reason for this game to be running at 30 frames. So it's like stuff like that with the Switch 1 that was like, okay. So right now, pretty much every game that you would expect to run at 60 runs at 60 on the Switch 2. So that's the good, you know. Crispy Tofu with the dog says, hey OJ, do you know if Sea of Stars might do a new physical release with all the DLC? I think in the future they could, for sure. Shout outs to the Sea of Stars team. But yeah, I think in the future they could do that. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. It's called SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy. Tag Team Frenzy Switch gameplay. So the PS4 version, like I said, runs at 60. But this is a competitive fighting game that you can play online. You know? Why are you gonna run at look at this? Like, there's no reason. There's no reason for this to be running at 30. Zero reason for this to be running at 30. Hold on, let me get to another battle. Alright, here we go. Like, it's just a fighting game. So, yeah, that was the problem that I had. Huge problem that I had is that runs at 30. So, this is the type of stuff that we shouldn't see. Now we have Street Fighter 6, right? Street Fighter 6 looks way better graphically than this, and it runs at 60 on the Nintendo Switch 2. So that's what I'm talking about when I say like we have more assurance that at least, you know, we should be getting things running better, because stuff like this happen all the time on Switch 1, and it was actually kind of annoying. So yeah. Yeah, exactly. Smash Brothers, the funny thing about Smash Brothers Ultimate is that Smash Brothers Ultimate, Super Smash Brothers Ultimate runs at 60 with like 8 players on screen. And like it runs at 60, you can have like max items, huge area, and you could have ice climbers. Ice climbers, so there's 16 different, you know, characters on screen. And that still runs at a pretty much locked 60. It does, I think that's the only time that you can make the frame rate dip a bit is if you do, even though it's hard to catch though, but if you do 8 players on one console, because you can't do it online, but 8 players, all ice climbers, max amount of items on the biggest stage that has the most stuff with stage hazards and everything going, you might be able to get the frame rate to buckle a little bit, like dip, but it still runs at a target 60. It's not like it runs below it and stays below. It still runs at 60. So it's really difficult to make Smash Brothers dip at all offline, of course. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so yeah. Fantasy Life does run at a perfect 30 frames per second for single player, but it does have some frame dips in multiplayer. But she started from the systems that ran at 60 frames per second, which also for Switch 2. Okay, yeah, I think maybe that's what happened there. Because if you go from playing it at like PC, where I know she has like a nice PC, Miss Bubbles does, and then you go from that to the Switch, obviously you're going to feel that frame rate dip. That's why I just decided to not even mess with it. But there's so many games to play. I don't even have all the time to sit there and play all the games that I want to play. Matt New says, "Places I know it was about 5 years ago, but what was this toxic leading? But was it this toxic leading up to the PS5 and Xbox Series?" Yes and no. That was during COVID, and people were just angry, but a lot of people were just playing games a lot. So it might have not felt that way because we were all just inside and just playing games, but there was a lot of negative things going on with the world. So no, but I think that a Nintendo, once again, when it comes to Nintendo, and you know, I'll say this, and this is just my personal belief, it's my opinion, is that there are people that just simply, like the NDS, the Nintendo Derangement System, there are people, Nintendo Derangement Syndrome, there are people that just really dislike it, and they're just talking. So I think that's really what it comes down to. And the fact that the Switch 1 sold so well, I think that was an issue for some people. Now, once again, there are some people who are legitimately upset about certain things or whatever the case is and saying certain stuff and not. But the amount of people that are just like I said, getting upset or trolling or whatever, you know, like I said, everybody reaches a breaking point at some point, which, you know, I've already reached mine a few times. I know Prime has reached his. We've all just kind of got, I know some of you guys have. Party Man, he reached his. Like, we all kind of just are tired of, you know, being being people just being so angry about everything needs to be a problem, like, or everything needs to be an issue. Like, honestly, this type of behavior back in the day, I already know what you get called. Like, if you act like this as a full-grown man, if you acted this type of way, we already know what you'd be called, you know? But in today's day, there's a lot of these guys that are just, like I said, clout chasing. There's a lot of these guys that just are angry about everything or just feel like talking about stuff. Like I said, there's legitimate concerns and whatever, but there's a lot of people that are just like, it's not good faith, it's bad faith arguments, you know? So yeah. I think you already made one. OJ, do you... Oh, that was a joke. OJ, do you think that the phone number requirement will be a controversy? No, I don't think so. And the reason why I don't think that the phone number thing will be a controversy, because obviously it's the, you know, privacy to protect in terms of trying to keep kids from just going on there and talking to whoever and all that. That's what I would think that would be for verification. You know, that's the only thing that I can think of. So they have the protection because of what happened with SwapNote. You don't need anything for SwapNote, and excuse me, there was a big controversy there. So I think that's the reason why, just because it's voice and it's video, so that can be very difficult to explain to parents and say, well, what are you doing to safeguard, you know, kids from getting on there when you, like, you know, getting on your Switch when you're not there and doing something, or maybe you forgot the safeguard or whatever, right? Like, so if you set it up yourself through the verification on there. You can set up the parental controls. You can set up exactly what's happening, and people can know like, hey, okay, you're verified, and it's like you're not like a crazy predator or something like that, right? That's what I'm guessing, just in case there's some crazy things that happen. It's tied to something, if there's some illegal activity, or if there's something that needs to be reported. So that's what I'm guessing the reason why. So I don't even really think it's a controversy. I just think that some people don't like that. I get not wanting to put your phone number in there. Like, I know, like, I get that 100%, right? Like what do you want my phone number for? Like, is that going to be shared with other people that are game chatting? Like, which it's not. But so I get that 100%. But yeah, I don't think it's really going to be a controversy, because most people use their phone for two-step authentication anyway on Switch. If you're not, you really should. Just in case your PC dies or something like that or whatever, you really should have that two-step authentication just in case, because like it'll tell you, it'll send it to your phone. Like, let's say your computer's not on and somebody tries to access your account, it'll send it to your phone like, hey, somebody's trying to access, or somebody's trying to, you know, change your password or something like that. So you really should have it. So it should already be on there anyway. But yeah, I don't really think of it as like, it's not really any big controversy. That's just my personal opinion. But I can understand why some people might be upset or say that it is, or be angry. That's fine too. More pathetic because just before Switch 2 Direct, he was busy combating the grifters who defending Grums, but after Switch 2 he's just been being worse as those grifters. And yeah, that's fine too. That's fine too. People, like I said, online Nintendo's done enough to where people are going to get angry or upset, or people are going to say things that aren't good or bad, regardless of whether the person supports them or not. So that's fine too. Doesn't matter. I don't understand why. It's fine. I don't have any issue with people talking about it. It's cool. Do you think Baldur's Gate 3 is coming to Switch 2? That would be a perfect game for the system. I don't know if it's a perfect game for the system, but I do think that it could come, yeah. Because Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 and Divinity's on there as well. Master Vic with the $10.
Toxicity for everything, to be honest. Every single scene just has people hating like crazy. It's ridiculous. We have a cultural problem, man. It's not like this in other countries, I'll be real. It's more level-headed discussion.
Yeah. Japan, for example, definitely more level-headed discussion, and certain other countries more level-headed discussion. But you know, that's kind of how America is. That's kind of how people that operate, you know, within some, like I said, like the hardcore fanboys. Like, people like to sit there and call Nintendo fans fanboys if they want to have a discussion on games or discuss this or feel like, no, that's okay or whatever. You instantly get called that because, once again, it's toxic. People that do that, they're toxic types of people and stuff. So yeah, but like I said, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Like, if somebody calls names, or if somebody says something to me or to you or to the like, who cares? Like listen, guys, you guys see what's happening with the Switch 2, right? You guys see the excitement. Listen, with this industry, there's one thing that I saw a comment and I thought that it was funny. Somebody said, oh, well, they're just propping up me or other people. They're just propping up Switch 2 because if Switch 2 doesn't do well, they don't they lose their livelihood, they lose their community, they lose all this and that. Let me tell you something right now. My man, people, I survived the Wii U era. I survived that era. I do this because I love doing this. Whether the Switch 2, obviously I want Switch 2 to do well. I want all systems to do well because I want there to be competition. I want there to be games. The better the system does, the better the games do, the more stuff we get. We know this for a fact. If video games stop selling and if systems stop selling, this industry would cease to exist. So none of us would get anything that we want. But of course I want things to do well. I want the people that are working for Nintendo to continue having their jobs and hiring new people. I want people that are working on the marketing side to do well. I want Microsoft to continue to do well, to continue selling. I want Sony to continue selling. I want all systems to do well because I'm not a psycho. I'm not I wasn't raised to be a spiteful or hateful person. Even if I don't like something, I do not like Xbox as much as I used to. I am not a fan of their strategy or their plan. There are a lot of things that I don't like. I have not made one video saying that Microsoft should go out of business or we should hate them. Even when they raise the price to $80 or whatever they can. I don't want that. I don't want them to crash or whatever. That's just weird behavior to see innocent people lose their job because you don't like something. So let's just get that out of the way. But when it comes to actually like the games and the systems and everything like that, like, to me, I want everything to do well. As long as it's good stuff, I want it to do well. And that's kind of lost massive reek, and that's kind of lost with people just being so angry about stuff. And you know, there's people that make their brand on controversial videos, which is fine. There's a place and there's a time and place for those videos as well. The only thing that I don't like is that people like to sit there and assume that if you're not like that, or if you do defend one thing that's objectively correct, which I think everything that I've said about Nintendo Switch 2 is objectively not false or wrong. Now, once again, we can have differences of opinion on how you feel about how what is done. We can have differences, like anything that you can say, but there's nothing that I've said that's too crazy, or a lot of people, a lot of other content creators that said that's too crazy. So I think that the people that kind of go crazy on that, I think obviously there's some mental issues there, which it's whatever. People have issues. But when it comes to the toxicity or people doing whatever, look at what's happening with the actual Switch 2 system itself. I don't need the Switch 2 to be super ultra successful for me to continue my community. I'm going to be playing video games regardless. I love RPGs. I love games. So even if Nintendo went out of business, which I would hate, because then a lot of people would lose their job and we wouldn't get as many games and whatever. Let's just say that they did. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop playing games like Metaphor Refantasio, Persona, SMT, you know, other RPGs. Like, I'm not going to stop wanting to talk about those or play those games. It would just shift to doing that. I would just be like, okay, well, now we're going to talk about this. Nintendo no longer exists, just like Atari. If content creation was around when Atari was around, it'd be the same thing. We would just move to the next thing, you know? So there's been companies that go out of business or stop making games, and okay, hey, look, it sucks. It is what it is, but you move on to the next thing. And that's kind of how it would be for me and what my content is. I do this because I love you guys. I do this because I enjoy talking about games, regardless of the scenario situation, you know? So yeah, I don't need the Switch 2 to do incredibly well to do my job or what I do. And if I do way less, and I'll get that done in just a bit, if I do not as good, or if I don't make as much, or if I can't pay my bills, or whatever the case is, I'm educated enough to go work a job, and I can do this on the side. I can do this, you know, when I get back, or I can do this like, hey, I can set it up like, hey, on my off days, maybe I'll do a stream, or we can do it like maybe 3 times a week, and we can have long streams 2 to 3 times a week instead of me doing it more. Or I can make videos on other things. Like, I can do other stuff. I'm not for me to survive or for me to live, I'm not dependent on Nintendo for me to do that. I do this because I enjoy it. I do this because I like talking about video games and RPGs, and I love you guys, man. That's why I do this, you know? So for me, I've survived plenty. I've gotten plenty of jobs. My first house that I bought a 4-bedroom house, and I bought my own car, and I was not doing good on YouTube. I was not making anything on YouTube. Like, I was not working full time. I did that before. I did that in 2015. I did that a decade ago, and I've got a new house now. So I didn't need YouTube and all that to be successful, or to try to be successful in life, to get a job, or to make something, or to work. I didn't need that, and I can do it without it. I got 2 degrees. I can absolutely do it. I've got good editing skills. I can be an editor for someone. I can edit for the damn news station here. They pay pretty good, $70,000, $80,000 a year for editing jobs over here. So I can find a job and do that. I don't need this, you know? I don't need this. I mean, if it went away, it would suck, but I don't need it to survive or to live or to do whatever. I do it because I love it. That's why. It's a great job. It's fun. It's exciting. It's electrifying, and it's fun. But if I got to move on and do something else, I'll do that. I can talk about sports. I can make a sports channel and go all in on sports. I can do that. You guys know how much I love Chicago Bulls and the 49ers, right? So, and there's plenty of views and plenty of money in doing sports, right? So when I hear people say that, it's like, you don't know me, man. I didn't. I've done this. I can take care of myself. I don't need this, but I love doing it. Shout outs to Kevin with the $5 dono. This has paid off my Switch 2 today. I sacrificed some of my amiibo for the good of the colony. I hope everyone is well. Gar playing night theme. Yes, sir. I got you. Thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you for the $5. Gar playing night theme. Unfortunately, crazy PC fans will disagree. They think Nintendo and all console companies are not doing well because they better eventually just make games for PC. That's their utopia. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I guess Nintendo's really the only holdout on that. But, you know, it is what it is. So, yeah. I wonder why Nvidia is so crazy about release new graphics card when they only need one for gamers by put a tag gaming on it, less driver for them to keep update. You know, I don't know what that means. What people forget is that no gaming company is perfect. They need to just chill and enjoy games. Yeah, I enjoy the gaming community more now because I only follow level-headed and I got rid of the loudmouth drama clickbait channels. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that I did on Twitter. You know, I was following certain people and, you know, I didn't unfollow them, but I just muted them. I'm just like, I don't really feel like getting involved in all this over and over and over and over and over again. Like, I'll talk back and forth here and there, but I'm not going to be seeing that stuff pop up. Like, they were constantly every single thing with the Nintendo Switch 2. And it's annoying when it's Microsoft, Sony, or anything, but every single thing they have a problem with. Which, you know, honestly, that happened with Microsoft too. And it's annoying. I unfollowed people that did that with Microsoft. I stopped following them. I stopped, because I just got tired of them. Like, the whole Activision Blizzard thing, like, that was just the most annoying thing from some Sony fans. And there was certain Sony chat that I just said, I'm good. Like, you guys are being crazy. I unfollowed and I muted. And I still somehow have some of these people muted to this day. Same thing goes for, like I said, with some of the people that I talk to. I just decided to just unengage, like, just because all it was just simply complaining about every single little thing. Like, and they're not even, and before the system was even announced, a lot of these people said that they don't like it, they don't want it. So all it is just some people, like I said, some, not everybody, because a lot of people are actually buying the Switch 2. They're gonna enjoy it, they're gonna pick it up, but it just became to the point where it was just crazy, you know. So, and I did the same thing, like I said, with PlayStation and Xbox. Some people that were just going nuts on either side, like before those systems came out or during Activision Blizzard. It just got annoying. I will say this though, if you look at the actual response from gamers, I think that there's such a prime opportunity right now at this point. There is a void. Microsoft, obviously, you know, they're kind of on the way down because the Xbox Series just hasn't sold what it needs to sell. Like, it just hasn't sold that great, right? So there's a prime opportunity for Nintendo to kind of slot in, you know, there nicely, because there's not many dedicated platforms, like closed box platforms. I mean, it looks like Microsoft's going to be making a PC next gen. I mean, it's going to be basically a Steam machine, where it's an Xbox, but you can run Steam storefront. It's basically PC in a box, you know, in a console box that you can play, that's fine too. But really, in terms of closed box devices, there's really only 2 left, you know. And I personally am a fan of that style. Nothing wrong with PC, nothing wrong with doing that. And if they made it in a box, that's fine too. But it's cool to have different companies that kind of have different types of styles or ways that they want to do things. I know for me with Nintendo Switch, it's cool to have the fact that you can play like a high quality game, or you can play like a console quality game anywhere that you want. It was pretty mind blowing to be able to do that, but do it so seamlessly, right? And now we have a lot of devices can do that, but the way that you access it is just not quite the same, and none of these systems actually make anything exclusive to truly take advantage of that said thing. And I think that's where it's exciting with the Nintendo Switch 2, is the fact that Nintendo's actually going to make dedicated, you know, games specifically built for that hardware, to where you can do things that you probably can't do on like portable PCs and stuff like that. So I think it's pretty cool. Even though Switch 2 is not a handheld. Well, it's definitely a handheld, but it's also a home console as well. You know, it's both. It's a hybrid. I think some reason, even with the Switch, these hardcore gamers don't take Nintendo as seriously as they do with Sony. I mean, and yeah, that's fine, but I mean, I think at the end of the day, I think the sales results speak for itself. Like, the fans actually take it seriously, right? Let's see here. In before, you can't hold it in your hand. Well, yeah, anything that's a hand. Listen, you hold it in your hand, it's a handheld, right? so yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, you hold it in your hand, it's a handheld. So that makes sense on that front at least. Oh man, good stuff though, guys. Thank you so much for the support though. I appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button. If you have not hit that like button, make sure you hit that like button. I'd really, really appreciate it if you do. So please hit that like button if you have not. All right. Let's see here. Also, if you have questions, feel free to tag me at PlayerEssence, hashtag PlayerEssence by itself. we've got about 30 minutes left on the stream, so feel free to tag me with the questions. I do want to go over the next Direct. I do think that Nintendo probably will be planning something for maybe July. I think July would be a good month for it. Give Switch 2 about a month to kind of sit and sell. But there's also been some reports of they're trying to manufacture more. Samsung's pushing for an OLED. There's like all sorts of reports out there. But I think that the next Direct will be probably July. That's what I'm thinking, July or late June or July. We do have also reports of the next PlayStation State of Play or next showcase event that apparently is coming in June. So June could be a big month. June is going to be a big month because we have the Switch 2 launch in addition to Sony doing a State of Play or a showcase, which they haven't done a showcase in a long time, so I'm guessing it's a showcase. Remember, most of these don't want it. People were jumping on every Switch 2 rumor. I think a lot of these don't want it. Switch 2 people are gonna pick it up. How many of you guys actually think it's like a psyop? I've told this before. I think it's somewhat of a psyop at times. So yeah, I think it's a psyop. Yeah, and Summer Games Fest as well. I think there's people that literally are gonna buy it, like that have been making and been so angry. They're gonna see Mario Kart World, and they're gonna be like, "Oh snap! Did you guys catch that clip?" I don't want to sound like I'm crazy, bro, but did this not sound tantalizing? Is that a good word to use? This sounded these sound effects. Maybe I'm just like I said. I love Mario Kart. I've been playing, but if somebody else made something like this or makes games like this, we could probably all ditch Nintendo with confidence. But I think that the biggest thing is that nobody makes nobody really makes other games like this. Nobody makes something like, I don't know, like Donkey Kong Bonanza or like Mario Kart World. Nobody makes it up to the level that Nintendo makes it, right? So I think it's hard to actually ditch them. But does this not sound like, and it's a little blurry, guys, but does this not sound tantalizing to you? This just sounds fun. It just sounds fun. Hear the music? Just hitting some grinds in an open world Mario Kart game? The coin? The star? Boom. Bust right through that. The little, all the little, it just sounds like a game. And I know that sounds weird to say that, but it just sounds like fun. One of the best things that I love about Claire Obscure, this is a weird relation here. Yes, I think that Prime 2 and 3 could be at those. But Claire Obscure just has a lot of like cool game sounds. Just the music's great, but just the sounds of the weapons and like it just sounds like a game fit like that, right? I think a lot of times we kind of fall into stuff sounding like movies all the time and not sounding like games enough. And everybody wants like movie realistic sound effects, but sometimes you just need like the little beeps and the bops or like the cool tones and like the slashes and like whatever that just makes a game sound like a game. Like whenever you're picking something in Claire Obscure, you hear like a sound, which why would you hear it sound like when you're like looking to like see if you're gonna pick like an item, like a tint, right? But there's a sound every time. There's a little sound. There's a sound like when you go back and like it clicks, and it sounds like a game. That sound shouldn't be doing, because there's no point. And like if you're about to use an item and there's a sound for you about to use an item, not when you use the item, but you're about to use you press the button to act like you're about to use the item. There's like a nice little like video game sound, like a switching, like a button almost. That type of stuff is super appealing to me. I don't know why. Like I said, it just is. And I like that. It makes it feel like a game. Whereas sometimes, you play a game and like you're about to use an item, you don't hear anything. You're just going through a menu. It's like, whatever, use the item. Okay. And then like maybe, you hear like a health potion thingy. But there's certain games that just actually are fit and set and want to act like games, you'll see it every now and then. Stuff like Split Fiction, right? Or stuff like Claire Obscure. Nintendo games have this as well. Oh, Microsoft and Sony games can have that as well too. Like they have it. But there's a certain way that it's done here that just feels awesome. You can just feel it in the clip. Like you know, you can see like that. Look at the little text and everything, and then like the grinding sound, the little boost, the coins, the music just popping. By the way, jukebox sound music, 200+ tracks. You know? And then like, especially the end here, I like the ending sound. It's like, congratulations, you did something, you know? That little sound is just great, man. So, I don't know. There's something about that Nintendo does quite a bit that's just fun. You know, like I said, some people might hate on that, but I don't know, man. Games are meant to be fun. That sounds like fun. So, that's why I think that this game is a blend of Mario Wonder, Double Dash, Breath of the Wild. Yeah, it really is. Mario Wonder had a ton of that. Just that gamey sound that just felt good to play. Like, it was addictive. Like, you actually had to stop yourself from playing Mario Wonder. Like, I had to make sure that I spaced it out a little bit because it was so addictive. Same thing with Super Mario RPG. Super Mario RPG has it. The remake definitely like, the original game had it, but the remake has it in spades. The HD Rumble in that game combined with the sound effects just makes an incredible experience. Like the like, this is, it just sounds like it brings you back to childhood, but then at the same time, it also makes it feel like it's just more appealing, more pleasing. I don't know. So that's just me, at least, you know? But yeah, it's good stuff though. Good stuff. I liked Wonder a lot, man. I was actually upset when it was over. I was like, oh, it's over. Well, I was pissed off when I finally finished it because I finished the whole thing, right? I got 100%, and like the last level is the biggest amount of BS. That is probably the most BS last level that I've ever played in a platforming game, in a normal platforming game in my life. That level is complete nonsense BS. It is the worst, and I hate it. That's the only thing that I truly hate about Wonder is the last level. And the reward that you get is the dumbest thing ever. It's not even worth the reward that you get, but yeah. I didn't spoil the last level. It's a stupid last level, though. I didn't spoil it. It's dumb. That last level, yo, Party Man, remember when I told you what happened to me? The last level, right? So I'm all tilted, I'm angry. I beat the last level. I get to the end, and guess what happens on the flagpole? I don't get the top of the flagpole. And literally, I'm like, I almost crash out. I almost, for real, crash out. You know? It was crazy. So yeah. I can't believe I didn't get that flagpole at the end. I can't believe I didn't get it. I definitely... Tyrese Halliburton. Reggie Miller. New York Knicks. Choke. He choked. Definitely choked. That was a choke job, bro. How about this is actually a good topic. What are your biggest chokes in gaming? Maybe we'll talk about this tomorrow too, so we get people at the beginning. What are your biggest chokes in gaming of all time? I think my biggest choke was definitely that level. That level at the very end, I finally beat it, and I don't get the flagpole. That was probably my biggest choke. Dude, I told myself too, I'm gonna make sure I get the flagpole. And then I don't know what happened. Knees weak, arms are sweaty, or palms are sweaty, vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti. He looks nervous, but he looks calm and ready to drop. No, I just choked, bro. B-Rabbit, straight up. Man, I choked. I freaking choked. I told myself that. Get the flagpole. And right before I was like, eek! My mind went, and I choked, bro. And I choked. I've choked in Clair Obscur, too. There's been times I'm setting up my parries, and it's like one last parry to beat something. And I've been parrying the person the whole time. And then it's coming in for the parry, and I go, ah! And I choke and die. There was a fight against, this is not a spoiler because it's the very beginning of the game. Golgra, you know, that's the Gestural village, like the chief of the Gestural village, that lady. Dude, I'm fighting against her because for some stupid reason, Mael, her character, there's a weapon that you can only get in 2 scenarios. It's missable. One scenario is that you use Mael to win in the arena in the Gestural village. I didn't. I think I used I didn't. I used Gustav, so I didn't get the weapon there. But then the other thing is that you have to beat Golgra as like in a fight, and she's obviously an endgame boss. She's super powerful, so you won't be able to beat her at the beginning. You can challenge her, but you won't be able to beat her. You fight her in other places though and stuff. But anyway, so I'm fighting against her, and I'm on level like 90 something, and she's still kicking my butt, like still hitting, like one-shotting me or near one-shotting me. So I have to parry everything, and she has so much health, so I have to learn her parries that she does. And I was fighting her for about an hour plus, and I remember I was parrying everything, and I literally had her dead. And then it was an easy parry, and I completely choked, and she killed me in one hit. Like, she killed me in one combo string. And I'm like, ugh! And I'd already been fighting her for like an hour and a half or so plus, you know? That was a choke. I definitely choked it. That was a recent choke. When you get to the final boss of Ninja Gaiden NES and the only level without permanent checkpoints for the game game over, oh yeah. When I was when you in an RPG down to small amount of boss health at bar, you die. Yeah. Is there any specific example though? Having sword saying Ishin down to a solid slither of health, and I had a full heal and healing potions, and I blew it. You blew it. The big choke was almost defeating Shao Kahn after the 20th attempt at Mortal Kombat 9 and then getting screwed over by his BS. But did you choke or was it just BS though? Let's remember guys, it can be BS, but when you choke, that means you had it. You literally had it and you didn't use the potion. You just made a mistake. Like you had it and you just choked. So not because you got cooked by some BS, but really because you choked when you were doing fine. I was parrying all of Golgra's attacks. I was doing just fine, and I got cooked at the very end when it should have been an easy parry, you know? And I even had second chance too, so that was my second chance that allows you to where if you die, you'll get right back up. So I even had a second chance that I used, you know? First time I ever threw a controller. I choked when in first place in Mario Kart, fall off the last turn. Oh yeah, I mean, I think that's happened to all of us though. Mario Kart, we've all kind of choked in Mario Kart as well. I thought choking involves sports. Wrong. I remember choking when I had a chance to finish the bosses, and I had stuttered on the controller, ended up dying. Oh yeah, the choke there, man. Long as the power discussion is nothing but rotten eggs at Pokemon, they are not sticking to Game Freak. Instead, they're just bringing more attention to Pokemon, reducing the identity. Okay. My choke was in Kirby Robobot with the True Arena, and it was the Soul Haltman Heart boss. I was so close to besting it, I just died from the heart beating attack. I dropped the True Arena. Oh yeah, that's called the choke to rage quit combo. Those are the most stinging ones because those ones leave you bitter, spiteful, leaving you hating the game, and then you also don't get all of it. Like, you know, the choke to rage quit is the worst. You know, the choke to rage quit, then like never play again. That's like the trifecta. So yeah, we've all choked, but not as bad as the Knicks last night. Yeah, that's why I said it was that. The Halliburton choke. The funniest thing is that he over-exaggerated the choke, which made it really funny. The choke was so funny because he over-exaggerated it. I'll show you guys for those who don't watch sports. Oh my gosh. So I just think it looks funny. Every time I look at this, it looks hilarious. Look at this. He's like, cause he hit a game-winning shot, and then he was like, "Oh, you guys choked." So this is the actual choke. Like, this is the original choke from Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller did this to the Knicks back, I think, in 1994. I was watching this game, and Reggie Miller was like, "You guys choked! You choked!" But then Halliburton just freaking exaggerates. Oh! I love this. This is fantastic. And then one of the best parts was the pointing. Oh my gosh, it was so good. It was so good. I'll bring that up. When he pointed, Reggie Miller was like the actual original guy, the choke. He was doing the broadcast, and Reggie Miller, the guy that was doing the exaggerated choke, Halliburton, he was pointing at Reggie Miller like, "Remember, I got you." And he's doing the commentary, right? And he's in the background just like this. Just like this, just like. And then they caught him, and then he was like, because he's doing commentary. He's not supposed to be cheering like that. And then they caught him on camera, and then he was like, but he was just pointing at him like, "I see you, my man." It was great. Great atmosphere. Just great thing, man. It was fantastic. So yeah, who's choked like that in a video game? Like, if you that's the type of choke that I'm talking about. Like, where you just choked and you messed it up. Let's see here. He looks like a cheap. He does kind of look like a cheap. Oh man, he does. He does kind of look like that. So yeah. Speaking of choke, you remember when I ended up in the 8th place? I was about to rage quit. Oh yeah. Yeah, that was funny. That was funny. Persona 5, Mr. Okay, oh, here we go. We got it right here. We got it right here. Here's Reggie Miller when he did it. Here. Oh, this was so good. This was so good. I found it. Here we go. This is Reggie Miller. This was so good, man. He was just like, yeah. This was it. Like, so it's like Halliburton was pointing at him, and they were pointing at each other, and he was pointing at him, and he was just pointing right back at him. But then they caught him. He's not supposed to be doing that, but then they caught him doing that, which was great. I bet RGT is having a huge meltdown. He actually didn't have a huge meltdown because it was some BS. The reason why that they even came back and won. The Knicks are the better team. The Knicks should win the series. They hit like, one guy hit like 6 or 7 threes in like the last quarter of the game, like the last like 9 minutes or whatever. One guy just went off for like 6 or 7 threes. They were getting blown out. They were getting bodied. And then all of a sudden, one guy hits like 6 threes and they're back in it. And then they got to bounce. Like the shot that he even did it to win was such a lucky bounce. It like bounced off and clanked up high into the sky and then went right in. It was complete luck. The Knicks should win the series. The Knicks should not lose. I just like that moment. I just thought that moment was great. Let's see here. Crazy part. I missed one of the weakness baton pass. Crazy part is that robot Haru phase was easy. Yeah. My biggest choke was missing the final hit on the true final boss of Hollow Knight and had to start from the beginning, which meant fighting the other hard bosses again. I almost quit. Oh yeah. Yeah. NES Ninja Gaiden 6-2, 6-3 are probably the 2 most infamous levels of all time. Maybe. Speaking of choking, I remember when I ended up, 8th place. Saw the Pacers game yesterday, LOL. Yeah. RGT, he was good about it because he knows it was some BS. Casual Noob with the $1 dono and says, let me read what he says here. Shout out to Casual Noob. Thank you for the $1, man. Says, I question whether I am a Knicks fan because after that part for Halliburton, I said the Knicks players need to Heimlich maneuver. Hold up. Excuse me. Need the Heimlich maneuver because of all the choking. Yeah, they needed that. Let's see. So yeah, no shot. Knicks will lose the series. I don't think the Knicks will lose the series because once again they were winning that game. They're the better team. The Knicks are the better team. The Pacers are not the better team than the Knicks. If the Knicks lose, they are weak. They are weak-minded and they crumble under the pressure because they literally have the better roster. They have the better team. Pacers do not. The Pacers are okay, but they do not have the better team. The Knicks have Brunson. The Knicks have Anobi. They have like Karl Anthony Towns. They have better. They have Miles Bridges. They have better players. They just flat out have better players than the Pacers. The Knicks should win. But once again, if they do lose, it's because this game crushed them. I don't see the Knicks losing. But if they do lose, it's because this game, and they're weak-minded. And Thibodeau didn't do enough to, galvanize the troops. Thank you guys for the blessing wishes. I appreciate that. Right now, on a $100 bet on Knicks, you'll get about 170. Ooh, for the series? Ooh, that is so tantalizing. I want to do it, but am I as confident in it? No. If it was the Chicago Bulls, I swear I'd do it. Like, if somehow the Bulls were good, figure drawing, if the Bulls were good and you wanted to bet this, like, I would do it. But I can't do it with a team that I don't have that attachment to. If it was the Bulls, yes. If we're talking like a Niner game, oh my God, I would. But I have trouble doing bets like that with teams that I'm not like the utmost confident in if they're playing. I do think the Knicks are better. Now, what I will say, since I'm chickening out right now, I think the Pacers definitely have a chance, right? I think that they do. But I'm not confident enough to do that. That's a good bet, though. I should take it, but I'm not going to. But that's a good bet. I just don't have as much confidence because I don't know what Knicks team is going to show up. Like I said, I don't know. Like I said, I did put my concerns that if they lose, it's because they're weak and they let this loss crush them, Last two-third point attempt from the Knicks proved that they can't handle the pressure. Well, we'll see. Never bet out of the fandom player since bet the odds. yeah, maybe. When's the next game? The next game's coming up, right? Another game hurt fall. Another game hurt fail is two things. At the very end, original Prince of Persia, or I don't know what that is. If you try to approach a simple end of the game, no encounters, being in the fight stance. Okay. Let's see. The NBA playoffs lack star power. It's the real toss-up. I mean, I guess if you're talking about it lacks the traditional, Giannis Antetokounmpo or, LeBron James or Jokic or, Jason Tatum or Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving or, if you're talking about that, then yeah, it does lack that. But it doesn't lack good, young, fast, strong players. It definitely doesn't lack that because the teams, there's a lot of guys that can play. A lot of athletic, tall, fast, very good teams. I mean, the Oklahoma City Thunder in particular play a very physical, electrifying brand of ball that I like. I like Oklahoma City. I like the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I like him. I like Chet Holmgren. I like those guys over at OKC. That's why I picked them. I think me and RGT, like somebody asked, like, who do you think's gonna win out of the Nuggets and OKC for the seventh, like, in game 7? I said OKC just to be different from RGT, but I also thought that they had the better team. And they did. They ended up pulling that one out. So I think OKC, there's definitely maybe not the biggest star power, but that guy just won the MVP of the league, so that tells you something. Since he won the MVP, they got the MVP still playing. SGA balling out. I think the championship is going to be OKC.
Joke, but this made me quit Cuphead.
Yeah.
I got killed while one of the bosses was in the process of dying.
Oh man, yeah, that's a choke. That's definitely a choke. Shout out to Justin. Thank you for another $3 dono. That is a certified choke right there, man. Definitely certified choke. So yeah, absolutely. Let's go. Combo breaks. Almost at 200 combos. Let's get it, man. Thank you guys so much for your support. I appreciate that. I think the NBA playoffs should go back to 5-game series until the finals. Oh no, that's too short, man. 7-game series, baby. 7-game series. Let it go. Let it rock. But I can see why you maybe wanted a little bit shorter. But I mean, if you lose 2 games, you're screwed. You lose. Basketball is too I wouldn't say that it's too random or it's too luck based, but it's like a lot of luck based. Like, you can shoot a basketball the same time and sometimes it goes in, sometimes it doesn't. We're not machines, right? So if you're a machine, sure, you can put it at but like, you can literally shoot it pretty much the same time every time, and like the shot goes in, the shot doesn't go in. Like, I don't know, it's just weird. Um, so yeah. So that's why I say, like, I think 7 games might be good. Same thing like with baseball, right? Baseball, you hit a ball the same way, all of a sudden it's a ground ball out, and then sometimes you hit the ball the same way, all of a sudden it's a double or something. Like, I think that the only thing that where it's kind of like not like that, because of how physical and because of it's like football. That's why you got to play only one game, and it's just one game, winner takes all, you know, because one, it's too physical. You can't be playing multiple games in like a week or something like that. But also, too, like, there's so much game to be played. Like, there's so much game. There's so many different aspects. Like, whoever wins, you know? So yeah. But I see what you're saying, though, for sure, Agchi. I see what you're saying. I can understand that. Yeah, I mean, I'll take NFL, too, because NFL, it's high stakes, winner takes all. I'll take NFL as well. It's high stakes, winner takes all. You better play your best right now. There is no tomorrow. It's winner takes all. Put everything on the line. Who wants it more? Right here, right now. No questions asked. No BS. No frills. You know. So I like that. I mean, you know, it just makes for a more entertaining, to me, desperation and brand of ball to me than long 7-game series, which I don't even watch all the games just because, once again, I don't feel like watching all of them. I'll watch like elimination games. I'll pay attention to those, or like but I'm not gonna watch every single game. You know, I'm not watching every single game. So yeah. LeBron the GOAT and can shoot perfectly every time. Yeah, right. LeBron is not the GOAT. The GOAT is Michael Jordan. The GOAT is Michael Jordan, and you know, it is what it is. I actually have something here, real quick, not to be, you know, sports ball talk, but Michael Jordan's the GOAT. And look, I know LeBron has a ton of, you know, accolades, and you know what, LeBron is he's like his own GOAT. There's like a separate section GOAT. There's something else when it comes down to like GOAT status for different things, man. Like I truly believe that overall. Like there's definitely different things for you know, GOAT status. But I saw this post on Twitter, and I saved it. I wanted to make sure that I talk about it. Here's what it comes down to, boys and girls. This is what it comes down to. Why the GOAT debate? The simplest way to end the GOAT debate. Read carefully. Jordan was the best scorer. He owns the highest career averages in both the regular season at 30.1 and the playoffs at 33.4. He won 10 scoring titles. 10. A decade of being the best scorer. 10 scoring titles. Jordan was the better defender. He's a 9-time all defensive first team selection record. That's a record. More than like Dikembe Mutombo, right? That's a record, right? He was named defensive player of the year. He was the best scorer and also the best defender in 1 year. Won 3 steals titles and has the 3rd highest steals per game average in NBA history. Jordan also has the 2nd most career blocks by any guard. Michael Jordan was more athletic. His airness owns the highest recorded vertical jump at 48 inches, the longest hang time at 0.92 seconds. And I don't know if this is correct. This is probably false, but whatever. And ran the 40-yard dash in roughly 4.3. Michael Jordan did not run a 4.3 40. No. I watched Michael Jordan play, and while yes, he was fast and lanky, he did not run a 4.3 40. I'm faster than Michael Jordan. I don't care what anybody says. And I never ran a 4.3 40. I would have, in my prime, I'm definitely beating Michael Jordan in a 40. He's not faster than like Chris Johnson, or like, he's not as fast as Deion Sanders and Chris Johnson and some of these guys that like in the NFL. No, you did not run a 4.3 40. But that's the only thing that I'd say is cap on here, is that he ran a 4.3 40. Okay. Everything else was correct with this jumping and all that. Okay. Jordan was more clutch. He has the most game-winning shots in NBA history, despite 9, despite playing over 400 fewer games than LeBron James. MJ finished 119 and 60 in the playoffs, and was 6-0 in the NBA Finals, and he won 6 Finals MVPs. Jordan has never lost a title game or series in college, the NBA, or international competition. Jordan was more efficient. He retired with a 27.91 player efficiency rating per PER record now second highest, and stands as the only guard in the top 10. Jordan was a better leader. He never had coaches fired, demanded trades for new players, or formed super teams to increase the chances of winning. He also never missed a game for 9 different seasons. Even at age 40, he never demanded anything from teammates that he didn't do himself. And Chicago Bulls were the only team to ever win 2 three-peats, despite him retiring for 18 months from basketball, from November 1990 until 1998. The Bulls never lost 3 games in a row. They never lost 3 games in a row in his entire career. They never lost 3 games in a row in that span. In the 1990 to 19, never lost 3 games in a row. Longevity does not beat unrivaled excellence. There is only one GOAT of basketball, and his name is Michael Jeffrey Jordan. And that is the truth. That is the actual truth. There's only one GOAT, and that is Michael Jordan. That's it. So that's what I wanted to say on that. That's what I wanted. That is the GOAT debate ends. I'm chilling. I grew up watching Jordan. He's the true GOAT. Yes. Let's see here. Yeah, many only go to watch the game 5 or 7. Yeah, exactly. What's with all the years he didn't even make the finals? Dudes act like he only played 6 seasons and went 6-0. Well, the thing about it is that he had a bad team, okay? And he was playing against freaking Larry Bird and the Los Angeles Lakers and the bad boy Pistons. Yeah, you're not going to make it to many championships. The only people that won championships in the 80s were the Pistons, the Lakers, and the Celtics. There was only 3, really just the Lakers and the Celtics. The Pistons won a couple towards the end once Bird started getting old and Magic started getting a little bit older. But really, the 80s were dominated by the Lakers and the Celtics. Like, there was like barely any other teams that won. So I think Bird won, Magic won 5, Bird won 3. So they won 8 out of the 10 titles. I think 76ers won 1, or maybe the Pistons won 2. But barely anybody actually even won. Barely anybody even won any titles in the 80s, because it was just Lakers and Celtics the whole time. Let's see here. Okay, LeBron dragged Kmart workers to the finals. That's true. He did, and then he got obliterated in the finals. Don't get me wrong. LeBron is still a GOAT. He is the modern age GOAT, like the new age GOAT, but he's not the overall GOAT. So LeBron is the new age GOAT. He's the new age GOAT, but he's not the actual GOAT, if that makes any sense. So yeah. That's kind of how I see it. Yeah, the Sixers snuck one in, didn't they? With Dr. J, they snuck one in the 70s. Was that the 70s or was it like 1980? What year was that? Or yeah, was it early 80s? It was before Barkley got there. The dude won 3 rings and left the game for 2 years, then came back and won 3 more rings. Exactly. And remember, there's never been any 2 three-peats. They're the only team that's ever done 2 three-peats. That's insane. Do you guys know how hard it is to three-peat? Even 1 three-peat is too hard to do. Like, that's incredibly difficult. Back-to-back, okay, back-to-back, that's been done. But three-peats are almost impossible. I don't think that the Spurs never three-peated, right? The Spurs never three-peated. They had a dynasty. The Spurs never three-peated. The Golden State Warriors, with their team, they never three-peated. The modern Golden State Warriors never three-peated. Only in the modern age, like the Lakers, that's it. The Lakers, the 2000 Lakers three-peated, but like, that's it. Like, we've had incredible teams that have had dynasties, right? That have not three-peated. So, yeah. Let's see, the early 80s with Dr. J. Yeah, Dr. J and Moses Malone. Majority of the guys Jordan played with were taxi drivers. In the 80s, yeah, he didn't really have that many great players in the 80s. Like, they were okay, but they weren't, like, incredible. One word, academia. Okay, shoutouts. Thank you so much, Super Christian Meward. I appreciate that. Thank you for the $1 donut. Let's go. Appreciate it. I think MJ gets the edge over LeBron, but it's closer than most pro MJ people generally make it out to be. How close is it? Like, is it close? I don't know if it is. The problem that I have is that, like, how do you lose six? How do you lose bro, you can't lose 6 finals. That just seems, when he built the super team in Miami, they should have won. They should have four-peated. They should have definitely four-peated. The fact that they only won 2 titles with the super team, that's, I think, was the problem. That they only, or they won, yeah, they won 2 titles with the super team. I think LeBron, the fact that he didn't win 4 titles in a row, like, with the super team, the fact that they didn't win that first one, then the second one, then they should have at least three-peated with that team, right? They should have at least three-peated. So I think that's the problem that I have, is that, like, he built a super team, then didn't even do a three-peat. That's fine. If you don't want to do a four-peat, okay, they went to 4 straight finals. Okay, I get that. But, you know, no three-peat with the super team? That's crazy. Shaw X with the $10 dono. And he says, plus Jordan never got punked by a role player in the finals like LeBron got punked by an old Jason Terry in the 2011 finals. Oh, man. Yeah. He played bad. He played really bad in that finals. He played really bad. I don't know. Maybe, I think he choked. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Oh, that was a music request. Okay. My bad. Thank you for the $1 dono. One word I don't know. That's that. I don't know what that is. Nothing's popping up on that, so I'm not sure what that is. Christian Me World. Thank you for the $1 dono though. Can you? Is that from anime? Is it My Hero Academia? Like, what is that? I can't play anime music. By the way, Switch 2 experience in Taiwan is July 5th and 6th, a month after the Switch global launch. Well, yeah, we knew. Didn't we already know about that? They already announced that a while ago, right? That it's gonna be like well after the. Oh, metaphor. Okay, metaphor. Metaphor. Okay. Sorry, I didn't know what you were talking about. Metaphor Fantasio. All right, there you go. Here we go. Got lucky with the second title. If it wasn't for Ray Allen, they would have lost the finals against the Spurs. I mean, luck is always a little bit of a part of it. If it wasn't for Steve Kerr and John Paxson, I mean, Jordan might have lost 2 of those. I mean, but then they were up in the series, but, you know, there were still more games if they did lose those games. Like, Jordan never went to a game 7, but, you know, John Paxson and Steve Kerr did hit game-winning shots to win 2 titles. So, yeah. But, yeah, I see what you're saying, though, for sure. Because that was crazy. Ray Allen just hit that crazy shot. As a Geriatric Bulls fan, you're totally unbiased. But am I not saying facts, though? Like, he's lost 6. Dude, how do you even lose 6 championship games? That doesn't even make any sense. I think he should have at least split them. He's been to 10, right? He should have at least went 5-5 or 6-4. If he went 6-4, everyone would say that he's the GOAT if he went 6-4. If he did 1 3-peat and went 6-4, I think that people would be like, he's the GOAT. Like, if he just had 1 3-peat and went 6, so just basically 2 more. If he would have won the 2011 title, right? If he would have won that, and they did a 3-peat, and then he just like maybe won 1 more of those that he lost, somewhere in his career, I think then he would have definitely, people would be like, okay, he's the GOAT, man. You know, he's the GOAT. Hold on. I think people would have definitely said that, but it's the fact that he's went 4 and 6. And then one of them was like the Mickey Mouse Championship, right? Like the Bubble Championship, which I guess if you want to count that, sure, you know? Well, Jerry West lost 9. Yeah, Jerry West isn't the GOAT, though. Shout out to rest in peace, Jerry West, but he's not the GOAT. Says, you're saying facts that only favor your position? Yes. Okay, what are the LeBron facts that show that he's the GOAT over Michael Jordan? Go ahead and put them. It's like he's played 50 years, right? That's what he's scored the most points. Is that what it is? They built the super team because they were jealous that Kobe had 5 rings. I think so. I think that they were upset that Kobe had 5. Kobe was winning so much. Yeah, I agree with that. Buffalo Bills of the NBA, LeBron James. Well, no, he's not quite the Buffalo Bills because the Buffalo Bills didn't win anything. Like, Buffalo Bills is worse. Buffalo Bills went to, I think, 4 straight Super Bowls and lost all 4. The 49ers are the JV ghetto Buffalo Bills, where they went to like 3 Super Bowls in a decade and lost all 3. So I would say if anybody's the Buffalo Bills, it's the 49ers. They are the ghetto new age 49, or the 49ers are the ghetto new age Buffalo Bills. Like, it wasn't 4 straight like Buffalo, but it was like, oh, we're gonna go to Super Bowl multiple times in a decade and like lose every time, you know? In like a decade, in like 12 years or something like that, right? They went to multiple Super Bowls and lost every one. So I'm just going to call them the ghetto spread out Buffalo Bills. I don't get into debates when I'm typing and the other person has a mic. That's a good idea. The worst choke in the NFL history is the Falcons blowing 28-3. That's Halliburton times 10. That's the super Halliburton, yeah. Was the freaking choke by the Atlanta Falcons. Matt Ryan, the eternal choker. And guess who was the coach of that team? Kyle Shanahan, the choker in chief of the 49ers. The choker in chief of the 49ers. Who he gave the Chiefs a dynasty. One person responsible for the Chiefs dynasty is Kyle Shanahan for choking. Crazy. All right, though, guys. We are going to wrap it up here. I want to say thank you to everybody who came out to the stream. We went a bit over on time. If you haven't seen my most recent video, check out my most recent video talking about Nintendo Switch 2, the big, exciting games update, and more. So I want you guys to check that out if you haven't seen it. Fantastic stream. Jimmy G's a choker, but it ain't as Shanahan's the bigger choker than Jimmy G. Jimmy G was like the side choke, but the real choker McChoker is Kyle Shanahan. He choked twice, both Super Bowls he choked. He should have ran the ball, he passed the ball, then Jimmy G choked. In the last Super Bowl, they literally had the game won. All they had to do was kick the ball to Mahomes first and see what he does. And then they probably could have marched down and scored with a more clearer head. But they decided to take the ball first and let Mahomes walk them off the field. Like Mahomes has done a million times to people. So they choked. That was a choke. They also didn't get the ball to George Kittle. For some reason, they stopped throwing him the ball. That's Shanahan's fault. He calls the offense choke. Choke job. So, yeah. 2 chokes. 2 choke. Choke 2 times. Finesse 2 times, choke 2 times. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate that for coming out to the stream. Check out my most recent vid once again. We had a lot of great content. Watch the video. It's actually doing really well. I did not think that it would do 20K plus views, but it's going on 20K views. So if you haven't seen that video yet, check it out. It's up on the channel. Got a bunch of new subscribers from that vid. So thank you guys so much, man. I appreciate it. So, all right, we will see you guys for the next one, okay? We'll be back tomorrow, Friday, but it's going to be a late night stream. I'm not going to be able to stream till late at night because I'll be hanging out with family. So, yeah, so it's going to be a late night stream, like a late night JoJo Friday. But all right, guys, love y'all so much. You guys are going to big love to Justin. Big love to Super Christian Me World, Shaw X, everybody that dropped donos today. I appreciate you guys. Monado Mario, thank you guys so much. Hopefully you guys, hopefully you guys weren't too upset by the okey doke I did today. I thought it was pretty fun. So yeah, shout outs, guys. Appreciate y'all. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys for the next one. All right, peace out, homies.